In his dying throes, the young man gritted his teeth, tears streaming down his wounded face. His trembling hand clutched tightly at the card on his chest, clinging to a final sliver of hope. "My name is Leo," he introduced himself amidst the corpses of his teammates, an amateur player with no class. Leo stood amidst the desolate scene, recalling the tragedy. "Today, my entire team was wiped out. The reason is, a series of blazing red warnings from the system flashed continuously in his mind." Leo's face paled with fear, cold sweat pouring out as terrifying memories flooded back. He only managed to gasp, "That thing," before a monster with countless arms lunged at him. The system announced the entity's identity as completely unknown, while it let out a savage roar. Leo reflected. This fateful encounter originated from Paradise Eden, the game that had merged with the real world 10 years ago. Since then, dungeons and monsters appeared everywhere, giving birth to a generation known as players. Rewind 2 hours, to a desolate area known as the Unlivable Zone. A hot-headed man yelled, "Don't be lazy if you want the bounty." He turned to berate Leo. "Hey, you, the one with glasses, hurry up," making him only able to stammer, "Yes, sir." 2 other players whispered behind his back, disdaining the fact that an unclassed individual was on the team just for his escape experience. What a pain, Leo thought to himself as he quietly adjusted his glasses. The place they were in was the unique dungeon, Nunkamine. This was an extremely dangerous B-rank dungeon, with generous rewards, but no one had ever cleared it. Leo knew that well, because it was in this very place that he had escaped to become a player but failed to awaken a class. "So, I've been stuck as a guide here for years," he thought bitterly as he watched the team celebrate. The B-rank mage Luca, the leader, turned and asked, Leo, what's the situation?" And Leo professionally replied, "Sir Luca, we are in an ideal position." Leo presented the initial plan. "The area between Sotabarai and the city center only has weak monsters but is rich in resources. We can make a fortune." But Luca brushed him off, confidently declaring, "All right, head straight to the city center. We'll clear this B-rank dungeon in one go." Leo froze, thinking in horror. The city center? He can't be serious. "I have no interest in throwing my life away." The blonde mage casually ordered, "Come on, lead the way," while Leo hastily tried to dissuade him. "Please wait," he desperately explained. Non-Cumany is no ordinary B-rank dungeon. With information about the city center being 10 years old, there's no way we can clear it. I believe we should gather data on the monsters there first." But his advice was met only with silence and the cold backs of the entire team. Suddenly, a strong force sent Leo flying backward, making him fall painfully onto his back. Luca grabbed the guide by the throat, lifted him up, and began to speak. "Listen here, with a cruel glint in his eyes, he snarled, "came here to conquer the dungeon. Shut up and do your job, you useless unemployed bum." Choked to the point of suffocation, Leo could only gasp with difficulty. I'm sorry." Luca threw him hard to the ground, uttering contemptuous words. "You're only being treated specially because of your escape experience." Though outwardly he assented, "Yes, let's proceed to the city center." In his mind, Leo was already plotting. "Damn it, I have to find an opportunity and bolt." Just then, a cold, sharp blade was suddenly pressed against his face. Luca leaned down, his voice full of menace. "You're not plotting anything, are you? If you don't lead the way, you're worthless. Understand?" Completely losing the will to resist, Leo stammered in fear. Yes, of course." Luca's hand tightened on the sword hilt, a sign that the situation was worsening. He stood up, contemptuously dusting off his hands as if he had just touched garbage. How disgusting. You've dirtied my hands." Mocking laughter echoed from his teammates, and Leo, sitting on the ground, gritted his teeth with determination. "Damn it. I have to find a way to escape from here at all costs." Finally, the team arrived. Before them lay a desolate, ruined city, the central district. Standing before the site, Luca merely remarked indifferently, "I don't see any different." In his heart, Leo scorned. "Idiot. This place is a monster den. I'll bolt when the fight starts." Suddenly, a team member screamed as a B-rank monster appeared amidst the rubble. Soon, the entire team was surrounded by a horde of giant monsters, snarling and charging. Luca merely smirked, flames erupting in his hand. "Calm down, everyone." He unleashed a destructive blow, arrogantly declaring, "They're just B-rank, an easy win." Witnessing the scene, Leo couldn't help but admire the near A-rank power of a B-rank mage. He secretly envied that power, but then suddenly sensed something unusual. A green aura enveloped Leo as his detection ability suddenly reacted violently. He whispered to himself, his intuition telling him a terrifying monster was approaching. Returning to reality, Leo frantically ran to warn Luca. "I'm detecting something extremely large approaching. We should leave here quickly." Luca brushed him off, contemptuous that an unclassed individual dared to speak of detection. Just then, the ground beneath their feet began to crack with strange flashes of light. The entire group panicked as they realized the ground was collapsing. The ground shattered, throwing everyone down into a dark abyss. As soon as they hit the ground, Luca grabbed Leo by the collar, roaring, "You led us into a trap, didn't you? I'll kill you." But everyone's attention was quickly drawn to a giant, multi-armed entity with glowing red eyes in the darkness. Leo realized in horror that his detection ability had completely vanished. Luca threw him to the ground, temporarily setting aside the punishment to face the new threat. A ghostly voice echoed from the darkness, asking eerily, "Hey, you humans, shall we play a game?" The female boss monster finally revealed herself, sitting on a ruined throne, making the entire team realize their true mission. The quest board appeared. Annihilate the unidentified object and claim the hidden treasure. An arrogant fire mage unleashed a spell, roaring, "I'll burn everything to ashes." In the past, Leo could only utter a confused, "Huh?" After the devastating attack, the target vanished. Luca asked skeptically, "Did it evaporate? Did he take care of it?" "It's definitely still around. Everyone, stay alert," Luca yelled as a gigantic, shadowy phantom vaguely appeared behind them. A white-haired player broke out in a cold sweat, sensing a terrifying surge of killing intent. The multi-armed monster landed on the ground, its eerie voice echoing, "You naughty thing. Don't be a coward. It's nothing special." A shoulder-armored swordsman roared, charging into a deathmatch with his teammate. But his attack was easily blocked by an arm covered in stitches. The female monster grabbed the attackers, giggling, "He, shall we play a game? So much fun," she roared with a savage laugh as she crushed them. Leo slumped to the ground, horrified by the sight. Did she kill all of them? He quickly activated his analysis skill, but the results returned were empty. Species, level, abilities, all unknown. What the hell is going on? Leo desperately yelled as he was sent flying by a surprise attack. He was thrown straight into a wall, the impact cracking it. Leo slid down to the ground, utterly helpless against the enemy. Amidst the scattered bodies, the female monster suddenly paused, as if she had found something. "I smell a familiar scent." She licked her lips suggestively. From the ground, Leo trembled as he looked up, his gaze meeting the monster's glowing red eye. The female monster bent down, whispering into the ear of the screaming boy, "Daddy, is that you?" Leo's mind races in denial. "I have a daughter this old? No, that's absurd." The monster's voice echoes his worst fears. "Found you, Daddy," forcing Leo to tell himself to keep a cool head. Sweating profusely, he pushed up his glasses, reassuring himself, "I have a way out of this mess." "Oh, that's right," the monster calling herself Suzuko exclaimed, "Daddy, let's go home." Suzuko gets to go home with Daddy now, while still stuffing another player into her mouth. Countless stitched arms lunged at Leo, who could only scream in despair. How did it come to this? Trapped in the giant palm, Suzuko whined, "Be a good boy. Listen to Daddy." He was dropped into the gaping maw, his last thought flashing, "Is this how I'm going to die? Seriously. What a stupid way to die." In the digital space, Leo's body fell freely as a system notification echoed, "Congratulations. Hidden profession unlocked." His new profession appeared, Dreadkeeper. He groggily opened his eyes, a thought flashing. "Huh? Didn't I just get eaten?" Leo sprang up from the sofa, touched his chest, and realized an unbelievable truth. I'm not dead." He stood up, looking around the familiar room. "This is my house?" On the TV screen, the female announcer reported, "Today is January 30th, 2100. It is now 4 p.m. Leo stared blankly at the screen, muttering, "This day, this time, isn't Paradise Eden descending in just 5 hours? Did I go back 10 years? He clutched his head, a crazed smile spreading across his face. "Really? I have the ability to restart my life after dying?" Leo joyfully shouted, "Finally, my prayers have been answered. From now on, my rosy life begins." But a stream of glowing red data began to appear. Red pixel blocks wrapped around his hand, signaling an abnormal intrusion. Right behind him, amidst the digital static, Suzuko appeared with her hauntingly familiar voice, "Daddy Tilda." A choked sound escaped as Leo collapsed to the floor. "So hungry too," Suzuko's ghostly voice echoed as she materialized, leaving Leo stunned. "Huh? Why?" Splayed on the floor, he bewilderedly wondered. "What is happening?" Countless stitched arms reached out to grab Leo, Suzuko whispering, Daddy sent Tilda." Horrifying memories flooded back, Leo despairing. "Damn it, I'm about to be eaten again." Suzuko's sharp fingers extended, ready to snatch her prey. She held Leo tightly, licking his cheek with delight, savoring Daddy's scent. Lifting him in her palm, Suzuko innocently asked. So, what's for dinner? Suzuko is hungry. What the hell? Leo broke into a cold sweat at the monster's urging. Give food? To escape he yelled, calm down, I'll do something, and received an eager reply. All right. Before a mountain of fried chicken, Suzuko tilted her head curiously. What is this? With a forced smile, Leo presented his offering. All of this is for you, Suzuko tilde. The monster cheered with joy, embracing her tiny daddy. Love you, daddy. Suzuko rubbed her cheek against Leo, leaving the young man frozen in fear. He still couldn't believe this insane reality. Is this an illusion or something? Without hesitation, one of Suzuko's arms reached for the steaming bucket of fried chicken. She began to devour the lavish meal with relish. While Suzuko was engrossed in eating, Leo thought to himself, if she eats this much, she'll surely be full. Suddenly, a system panel appeared, startling him. Huh? I have a profession. The information clearly displayed. Unique profession Dreadkeeper. Awakened thanks to B-rank boss Suzuko. Leo's eyes gleamed with a terrifying thought. That means, what will happen if her condition becomes complete? Amike Leo was deep in thought. If I can control Suzuko, can I control other bosses too? But the harsh reality hit when Suzuko, with glowing red eyes, hugged him tightly. Daddy tilde. The system confirmed her persistent hunger. The monster girl was still craving. Still hungry tilde, what should I eat? Leo decided to put his plan aside for now, coaxing her first. For now, I'll just make her happy. He gently patted her head, offering a reassuring smile. Suzuko, sometimes you have to be patient. The young man held out his hand, promising a full meal. There's no need to rush. I'll let you eat your fill. In his mind, a sinister plan formed. Play the role of a good father, help Suzuko mature, and clearing the dungeon will be as easy as pie. Leo's small action caused a strong reaction, Suzuko uttered in confusion. Daddy patted my head. He was completely stunned by her expression. Overjoyed, Suzuko lifted Leo up in a tight hug. Suzuko is super happy tilde. Suzuko will be a good girl. Choked by her affection, Leo struggled to speak. First, put daddy down. I can't breathe. Just then, an urgent news report on TV made him turn back in surprise. What? He stared in horror at the static-filled screen, a bad premonition telling him, no way. Leo rushed to the window, hoping his thoughts weren't true. Really? But the cruel reality struck a heavy blow to his mind. The dungeon descended earlier than before? Are you kidding me? Outside, the shadow of the Black Forest dungeon was engulfing the entire city. Suddenly, green light particles began to gather right in the room. The energy converged, forming a grotesque entity. A disgusting monster with countless eyes appeared right in front of Leo. Huh? The system announced Black Forest manifested as the monster let out a deafening roar, throwing Leo backward. Amike Leo fell sprawling, exclaiming in shock. What? Suzuko darted past, roaring furiously at the defeated enemy. You maggots. With bloodthirsty red eyes, she screamed an absolute command. Get lost! A system notification rang out, confirming the threat from the eye had been neutralized. Immediately, Suzuko grabbed Leo, laughing maniacally. Ha 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 tilde daddy is mine. Put me down! Leo screamed in utter horror. Once put down, he conceded. I'll prepare it right away, in response to Suzuko's question. All right, tilde, is it eating time yet? Suddenly, a tremor struck, confusing Suzuko. What's that tremor? Amike Leo clutched his head, an unusual sensation overwhelming him. Ugh. What the hell is this? System warning. Strange nurtured monster detected. Black Forest's curse activated. A curse? Leo froze as he read the terrifying condition. If not cleared within 72 hours, he would be imprisoned forever in the Black Forest. While thorny vines began to rise from the ground, the entire room violently shifted, giant branches throwing both of them. From the massive vines, plant monsters with chilling green eyes began to form. Leo looked around in despair. What the hell kind of situation is this? He thought anxiously to himself. I haven't even sorted out Suzuko's situation yet. In stark contrast, Suzuko rushed forward with an excited shout. Food! Revealing sharp teeth, she licked her lips hungrily. Looks delicious tilde. Without hesitation, Suzuko swung her countless arms towards the horde of plant monsters. Suzuko charged into the plant monsters, countless arms flailing in a frenzy. An experience point notification appeared as she stuffed her prey into her mouth. A delighted roar echoed as Suzuko's hunger bar began to skyrocket. Super, delicious tilde, she whispered, gaining a new skill, wild transformation after her feast. With a slam of her hand on the ground, Suzuko easily swept away the remnants of the monster. Watching the scene on the screen, Amike Leo smiled. So that's it. She can satisfy her hunger by eating monsters. But his joy was short-lived, as he had to face the curse again. Also, I need to do something about this curse. He realized the absurdity of the situation. This is the Black Forest dungeon. I should be somewhere else. Leo's eyes flashed with determination as he identified the only variable. The difference is that Suzuko is here. Just then, Suzuko innocently offered, "Daddy Tilda wants some to eat," making him only able to refuse. "No, Suzuko, you eat it." Suddenly, a sinister smile appeared on the monster girl's lips. What if? Leo's thoughts suddenly became clear amidst the encrypted space. Does the dungeon want to eliminate Suzuko? So it's trying to eliminate her master, which is me. With a curse, he clutched his head in despair. Within 72 hours, I must escape or clear the dungeon. Amiki Leo collapsed under the pressure. How can Suzuko and I handle this entire giant forest? Suddenly, a surge of killing intent struck, making him exclaim in surprise. What? In front of him, a giant plant monster had appeared towering at some point. No way. At that critical moment, Suzuko roared "Daddy" and activated her new skill. A barrage of sharp plant blades shot out, sweeping away everything around to protect the young man. Suzuko exclaimed with delight. Not bad at all. As the emerald vine swept across the battlefield, she turned back, asking with concern, "Are you okay, Daddy?" To which Amiki Leo proudly replied, "I'm fine. You did great." Amiki Leo smirked, realizing. So Suzuko has absorbed Kyo's skill. Suddenly, blue orbs of light began to form around him, surprising him. It's starting to glow? One of the vines suddenly lunged towards Amiki Leo, who frantically yelled, "Careful! Stay away from it!" The out-of-control vine crashed into a tall building, causing a terrifying explosion. The scene shifted to the past, 24 hours after the Black Forest descended upon Naru's city, where giant trees had swallowed the entire metropolis. Amidst the ruins, Luca stood up to reassure the crowd. "Don't be afraid. I know the enemy's weakness," he confidently declared. "Because I used to be a beta tester. Everyone, follow my orders." But immediately after, the crowd panicked and scattered as a new threat emerged. Luca was stunned, sweat pouring down as he identified the enemy. That's a level 2 Kyo? Before him was a giant plant monster, roaring with overwhelming power. Luca's followers screamed in despair. "What the hell is this? It's completely different from the previous ones." Luca tried to stay calm, yelling, "Calm down. There's a way to deal with this." He took a deep breath, gathering all his strength. Then he looked up at the sky and shouted, "Wielder of a class." A beam of blue light descended from above, aimed directly at the monster. The powerful energy stream tore through the ground, engulfing the level 2 Kyo. On a rocky outcrop, Hayashi Miki, an F-rank mage, appeared and calmly remarked, "So this is a level 2 Kyo?" Hayashi Miki looked at the fallen level 2 Kyo, making a cold remark. "Easy as pie." Meanwhile, Luca stood on the monster's corpse, raising his axe and exclaiming, "See, what did I tell you? If you follow my orders, it'll be an easy victory." The crowd below cheered excitedly, hailing the girl who had saved their lives. Miki quietly adjusted her hat, thinking to herself, "This guy is really good at manipulating people. We've only known each other for a day." Suddenly, two other plant monsters lunged out of the darkness, knocking the mage down. Saved by a mysterious surge of energy, Miki sat on the ground, cautiously asking, "Who are you? Why did you save me?" Luca appeared, standing on the corpses of the recently defeated monsters. "I'm gathering allies to clear this dungeon. People with classes like yours are especially valuable." He smiled confidently, extending his hand. "I am Luca, a beta tester. Interested in becoming a hero with me?" Miki stood up, looking at the man before her with skeptical eyes, as if a normal office worker like him could become a hero. "The monsters are getting stronger and stronger," she concluded in her mind. "Clearing it won't be as easy as Luca says." Back in the present, Suzuko was enjoying her new power, controlling a giant branch that reached high into the sky. "So fun, Tilda, amazing." Held tightly in Suzuko's countless arms, Amiki Leo thought to himself, "Suzuko saved me, but..." While the innocent monster girl asked, "Daddy, can we do it again?" Horror surged. Leo despaired. "At this rate, I'm going to die." Just then, Luca's voice from the past echoed in his head. Memories of Luca 10 years ago suddenly flooded back, and Leo smirked. Clearing the dungeon with him might not be a bad idea. Suddenly, a violent tremor startled both of them into alertness. From below, a swarm of plant monsters was climbing the tree trunk, making Suzuko cackle savagely. "Food!" The small monsters rushed towards a larger monster, and Suzuko merely licked her lips. "Looks delicious, Tilda." Amiki Leo, on the other hand, turned pale with fright. "They're climbing the tree?" On the ground, the group of survivors also looked up in horror at the shaking giant tree, not understanding what was happening. Hayashi Miki wiped her sweat, thinking to herself, "These people overreact to everything." Meanwhile, Luca looked up at the sky in horror, yelling, "This is bad." The giant tree trunk began to twist, and then snapped in half with a sky-shattering roar. Witnessing the scene, Luca frantically called out his teammate's name. Hayashi Miki! Hearing the shout run, Miki bewilderedly wondered, huh? Just before disaster struck, a massive block of wood and rock plummeted straight to the ground, creating a terrifying impact. Dust billowed, engulfing a corner of the city in ruins. Amidst the desolate landscape, Aniclimax regained consciousness, stunned. I'm still alive? A voice echoed from above, carrying a familiar feeling. Hey, kid. Immediately, Hayashi Miki grabbed Leo tightly, warning, you'd best not move. Faced with the awkward situation, Leo stammered, this was just an accident. Miki growled accusingly, did you chop down that tree? But Leo quickly denied, you misunderstood, it was just a coincidence. Suddenly, a cry of daddy rang out and a strong force threw Miki to the ground, leaving her stunned. What now? From within the smoke, Suzuko emerged in her multi-armed monster form, cackling eerily. Found you, Tilda. Both Hayashi Miki and Aniclimax were frozen, staring in horror at the giant creature before them. Aniclimax quickly spoke up, trying to de-escalate the situation. Suzuko, all right, now. But Hayashi Miki had already sprung to her feet, blocking him and declaring, leave it to me. Her eyes burned with determination. Heroes don't run. I'll protect you from this monster. While Miki aggressively confronted Suzuko, Aniclimax behind her tried to intervene in vain. It's okay. Suzuko looked bewildered by Hayashi Miki's confident provocation. Come on. Aniclimax was stunned, his inner thoughts screaming. What the hell is going on? She's mistaken Suzuko for an enemy. Without a word of explanation, Hayashi Miki charged forward, blue energy erupting violently. A furious magical vortex engulfed Suzuko's body. The monster entity was imprisoned in an icy cage, seemingly completely subdued. Careful! Aniclimax yelled in despair, realizing something was wrong. Suzuko merely tilted her head in question, completely unfazed by the ice sword plunged into her back. Noticing an opening, Hayashi Miki roared and unleashed a finishing blow. Gotcha, she smirked triumphantly. The attack was nullified, and Suzuko retaliated with a blue light that sent Miki flying, then turned to Leo and asked, Daddy, are you worried about me? It's not that I'm worried about her. Aniclimax mumbled, then rushed towards Miki. Hey, are you all right? The young man was extremely worried, secretly praying, I hope she's not dead. Fortunately, Hayashi Miki was only unconscious after the counterattack. What do I do now? Leo wrung his hands in frustration, when Suzuko leaned in close, sticking out her tongue to ask, Can I eat her? You can't eat people, Leo stated firmly. Helping Miki up and realizing she was a member of Luca's group, a plan flashed in his mind. If I save her, Luca will let me join his group without any hassle. But the plan had a fatal flaw, he turned to Suzuko. But it'll be ruined if they find out about you. Suzuko, I need a favor. Can you hide for a while? Aniclimax pleaded. Suzuko tilted her head in question. Why? While Leo just smiled meaningfully. Why else Tilda? Aniclimax smiled brightly, promising, if you hide well, I'll treat you to a delicious meal. Suzuko revealed her monstrous form, eagerly. Really? I'll hide very well. While Leo reassured her to wait patiently. A glowing green eye, the symbol of the curse, began to fade. Leo was startled, realizing, the curse has weakened. Is it because Suzuko is hiding? A bold plan flashed in the young man's mind. Have Suzuko hide, use Luca's group to find the boss, then unleash his trump card to finish it. Meanwhile, Hayashi Miki slowly opened her eyes, still dazed. The young woman sat up abruptly, clutching her head and groaning in pain. Leo rushed over with a feigned look of concern. Oh, you're awake. Glad you're all right. When Miki asked about the monster, Leo casually replied, Ah, thanks to you. It ran away. Hayashi Miki pointed at herself in confusion, completely unaware of what had happened. Although she didn't remember clearly, she put on her cap and decided, whatever. Miki stood up, acting like an older sister. It's very dangerous here. Let's go somewhere safer. Leo secretly thought, just as planned, while Miki turned back to ask his name. After deciding to use a fake name, he replied, I'm Himajin. And Miki also introduced herself. When Miki shook his hand, Suzuko's spiritual form accidentally touched her hand. What is this? Suzuko whispered. Such a familiar feeling. Leo quickly ordered the giant entity behind him. Suzuko, food, follow us quietly. The monster girl obediently bowed her head and replied with a resigned yes. Hayashi Miki led the group, completely unaware that she was walking with both prey and the true predator. Under the crescent moon, ghostly tree branches stretched out, enveloping the warehouse area, signaling a restless night. In the makeshift base, Luca impatiently questioned, Mission report. Teams 3 and 4. Have you found her yet? A member bowed his head to report, his eyes full of concern. Hayashi Miki's whereabouts. We are still searching. Luca's anger erupted. Hurry up and find her. Without Miki, this whole team would have been wiped out long ago. The entire group of survivors trembled before their leader's wrath, hastily searching for words of reassurance. But deep down, Luca had only one thought. Please, Miki, be safe. Just then, a familiar voice echoed from the doorway. No need to search anymore. Hayashi Miki had returned, waving a defiant greeting. Yo, Luca. Luca's face relaxed, bursting with joy. Miki. He spread his arms wide, choked up as he welcomed his most important teammate. Welcome back. Luca's gaze then shifted to the stranger accompanying Miki. Oh, this kid. Is he your little brother? I saved him on the way, Miki explained, completely unaware that Suzuko's spirit was whispering, audible only to Amike Leo. The young man smiled amiably, introducing himself with the fake name Himajin, but in his mind, it was a different greeting. Long time no see, Luca. Leo offered to join, and Luca, without hesitation, shook his hand in agreement. The leader smiled politely, but his inner thoughts churned. This brat, there's something very suspicious about him. Determined not to let a potential threat slip through, Luca secretly activated his trump card. Let's see what your true identity is. Before the data analysis, Amike Leo merely smiled innocently. Is there anything I can help with? The skill failed miserably, returning only a glaring red error warning screen. Putting aside his suspicion for a moment, Luca condescendingly patted Leo's head. I'm Luca, just call me boss. Luca's analysis skill encountered a critical error, unable to identify the target. Yes, boss, Amike Leo obediently replied, while Luca was secretly astonished that he couldn't read his information. A series of scan-failed warnings appeared, Luca's efforts completely futile. Luca grabbed Leo's hair, growling. Let's see, I have a good job for you. A distorted blue warning screen appeared before Luca's eyes. It fails every time. What the hell is going on? Luca broke out in a cold sweat. Utterly bewildered. Suddenly, Luca collapsed to the ground, making Amike Leo feign panic. Boss? Ugh, what is this? Luca clutched his head, a searing pain tearing through his mind. In the illusion, Suzuko revealed her monster form behind Leo, who was reaching out and asking, Are you okay? An invisible mental attack knocked Luca to the floor with a piercing scream. The entire group fell silent. No one understood why their leader had suddenly collapsed. Hayashi Miki rushed to Luca's side, who was bewildered. What's going on? I just scared him a little, Tilda, Suzuko whispered, while Leo just smiled, thinking to himself, was it Suzuko who did it? Suddenly, a terrifying sound from outside startled everyone. What was that? What's that noise? Elsewhere, a resolute footstep stomped heavily onto the ground. A violent explosion erupted, throwing two players who were fighting. Luca's group rushed outside, horrified to witness the factory engulfed in flames. The factory. It exploded. What's happening? Luca shouted, panicked amidst the chaotic scene. From the midst of the flames, a giant tree extended its branches upwards, and a survivor screamed. What the hell is that? The tree is moving, Suzuko worriedly asked. Dad, should we run? But Amike Leo reassured her. No, wait. My detection ability is still active. Amidst the energy vortex, Leo realized. The monsters are agitated. Is something provoking them? Suddenly, a massive flame erupted from the direction of the ruined factory. Leo whirled around, his face clearly showing surprise and worry. Fire? He urgently shouted to the remaining survivors. Everyone, listen to me. Leo pointed towards the sea of flames, commanding decisively. Stay away from the fire. Amidst the chaos, he issued a critical warning. A level 3 wood, elemental demon is coming. From within the raging flames, a blazing claw reached out. A giant demon of wood and fire materialized, letting out a roar that shook the earth. Witnessing that scene, Luca was stunned, filled with suspicion. How did that brat know? Could it be that he also has the potential of a savior like me? In his delusion, Luca imagined being scorned by Leo and Hayashi Miki, and having his leadership position usurped. He was obsessed with the thought that Leo was plotting to become the leader to steal all the rewards. System text appeared in Luca's mind, reminding him of the rule. Each dungeon only has one unique savior. His eyes flashed with hostility. Luca created an energy sword, muttering a curse. I will make you regret stepping into my dungeon. Back in reality, he swung his sword, shouting to the crowd. Heed my command. Begin the counterattack. But Hayashi Miki only managed to shout a warning. Luca, be careful, before he was thrown away. A terrifying explosion engulfed Luca's entire counterattack formation. Miki stood in front of Leo, asserting, We can't rely on Luca anymore. Himajin, get everyone out of here. She grabbed the young man's collar, growling. Understand? And received a somewhat panicked reply. All right. Amike Leo sensed an ominous sign. This is really strange. Even though the curse has weakened, The wood elemental demons are still evolving. Suddenly, a terrifying explosion erupted, and Hayashi Miki quickly shielded him. From the sea of flames, a level 3 wood elemental demon with a blazing body let out a ferocious roar. Himajin, hurry up, Hayashi Miki urged, but Amaike Leo clumsily stumbled. The young man awkwardly looked back, thinking to himself, if she tells me to run, then… Right behind him, Suzuko's spirit form appeared, screaming in hunger. I can't take it anymore, I'll eat them. Her grotesque arms slammed into the ground, gaining momentum to charge. Delicious Tilda Suzuko glided past a stunned Amaike Leo, charging straight towards the enemy. A destructive stream of fire and a mysterious attack collided, creating a terrifying shockwave. Hayashi Miki was stunned, recognizing the entity that had just acted. The monster from before? Suzuko was engulfed by the demon's flames, and the enemy's savage laughter rang out. Full BBQ! But instead of being incinerated, Suzuko opened her mouth wide and deliciously swallowed the flames. Amaike Leo could only sigh helplessly. Suzuko, Dad is in danger, and you're only thinking about eating? The curse will get stronger again. He suddenly remembered his only ability, a rookie with the synchronization skill. A humorous flashback appeared, confirming that he could only tame boss-level monsters. An idea flashed in Amaike Leo's mind. If I can control the boss of the Black Forest, will the curse be lifted? Back in reality, Hayashi Miki grabbed his collar, determined to drag him away, but Amaike Leo unexpectedly pushed her hand away. Miki, now is your chance. Run. His eyes became resolute. While the monsters are distracted, I'll go defeat the boss. This is a gamble, Amaike Leo shouted, his eyes blazing. Luca definitely knows where the boss is. Hayashi Miki warned about the evolving wood elemental demons, and both decided they had to find Luca immediately. Hold on tight. Hayashi Miki unleashed her strength, scooped up Amaike Leo, and shot off like an arrow. Meanwhile, in the underground ruins, a ghostly figure with long silver hair exclaimed, I've found you, Tilda. The entity gently touched a shadowy figure, its voice whispering a single word, Dad. Amidst a sea of carnivorous flowers, the giggling of the silver-haired female monster rang out, signaling the presence of the true boss. Elsewhere, Luca's group stood on monster corpses, confidently declaring they had found the enemy's lair. Luca smirked to himself. He only cared about the reward, and was ready to abandon that brat to clear the dungeon alone. Suddenly, a severe headache struck, causing the entire group of survivors to collapse. Even Luca was no exception. He was stunned by the invisible attack. What the hell was that? The source of the chaos was a ghostly eye, emitting a stream of green psychic energy. Luca's entire retinue was subdued, their eyes now glowing with a deadly blue light. Don't panic, Luca yelled, trying to calm those who were once his comrades. Despite the danger, greed fueled by the enormous reward, Luca challenged. Bring it on, one person in the group frantically questioned. Facing a level 3 monster, how can we possibly win? His pride wounded, Luca's eyes flashed with a cruel, murderous intent towards the one who had just dared to doubt him. What an eyesore, he muttered, then proceeded to kill his own comrade to everyone's astonishment. Immediately after the cruel act, a system notification appeared, offering Luca the chance to acquire a new profession. The remaining people stared in horror at their blood-stained leader, stammering, Sir Luca, what have you done? Killing a wood elemental monster only gives a few hundred points, but killing a mere NPC gives 1,000. If I can't defeat the boss, then I'll just take points from all of you. A crazed smile appeared on Luca's face. Is it here, Miki? Amaike Leo asked, both looking down at the traces of a fierce battle. He's gone mad. Run! Hayashi Miki yelled, both terrified by the scene before them. She dashed away, but instead of running away, Hayashi Miki charged straight towards Luca, who stood amidst a battlefield of corpses. Luca! She screamed, facing her former comrade who was gripping the neck of the last survivor. You've misunderstood, Miki, Luca replied with a twisted smile. You promised we'd clear the dungeon together. You're killing your comrades. You've lost your mind. They're the crazy ones, he calmly replied. Can't you smell the flowers? What about the smell of flowers? Hayashi Miki asked, confused, sweat beading on her forehead. Breathe it in, and you'll become the boss's minion. That's why I have to kill them. Luca's hand tightened around the hilt of his sword. Miki. Actually, I'm a minion too now. You have to kill me. How did it come to this? Can't we defeat that boss together? She desperately grabbed the sharp blade. No way. Luca brushed her off, but Miki grabbed his shirt, yelling, You're a beta tester, aren't you? There has to be another way, right? Don't give up, if you don't kill me, Luca said in a low voice, his face hidden in shadow. There's still another way. He pulled her closer, whispering, That is, I'll kill you. Luca's eyes glowed with a deadly red, revealing his true nature. Hayashi Miki screamed in horror as a deadly beam of light pierced through her. Luca cruelly pinned her to the shattered ground with his sword. "Luca, you," she whispered. But the madman only roared, "You're just an NPC. How dare you lecture me, the protagonist?" He pressed down hard on the sword, yelling, "I saved you because I wanted a high-tier profession. Too bad, Mickey. At least you can fulfill your final role." Luca activated a card, and the system coldly asked, "Target still alive." Forcibly seize profession card? A stream of green energy was violently ripped from Hayashi Miki's body amidst her screams of pain. Unbelievable. An S-rank profession, Luca exclaimed joyfully as the golden card flew into his hand. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Miki, wait," startling Luca. That voice? Amiki Leo had just arrived, frozen at the sight before him. "What's all this noise about?" He broke out in a cold sweat, stammering, "Huh? Did I come at a bad time?" "It's you. Perfect timing," Luca smirked, holding out the card he had just stolen. Amiki Leo forced a laugh, waving his hands frantically. What are you talking about?" "It's useless, you fool," Luca sneered. "I'm a much better actor than you." Noticing Luca's strange behavior, Amiki Leo secretly decided, "Poor Miki, but I have to get out of here." But Luca blocked his path, his entire body erupting with a terrifying aura. "You're not going anywhere." Bound by an invisible force, Amiki Leo was horrified. "How can this be? Luca doesn't have a profession. I thought you were aiming to usurp my position," Luca said smugly. "But I didn't expect you wouldn't even glance at Mickey's S-rank ability." Amiki Leo was utterly bewildered by the madman's words. What is he talking about? Mickey's S-rank? This is the first I've heard of it. Luca's crazed smile filled the frame as he revealed. "The reason the dungeon changed is because both of us are saviors." Amiki Leo was stunned. Countless types of travelers flashed through his mind. From heroes to madmen, he broke out in a cold sweat, realizing that if Luca was the calamity type, then all of his actions made sense. While Luca questioned his motives, Amiki Leo secretly calculated, "I have to buy time until Suzuko arrives, otherwise he'll kill me." Suddenly, he looked up, smirked, and admitted, "That's right, I did it all." Luca showed interest in the unexpected confession. "Now we can talk." Amiki Leo continued his act, boasting about infiltrating the dungeon to change its difficulty and reward value. "You must be very pleased that your plan is going well," Luca replied with a smug smile. "This fool believes everything I say." Amiki Leo thought to himself, "Then I'll play the part to the end." He burst into an arrogant laugh. "Thanks to me, this dungeon is even more thrilling, isn't it?" Luca rested his chin on his hand, his face full of cunning. "It truly is fascinating. The rewards have changed, but the reality was far more brutal." The scene shifted back to when Luca suddenly used his power to seize Hayashi Miki. "Are you two in league? You're both insane." Hayashi Miki screamed in despair as she was restrained. "Shut up," Luca roared, delivering a brutal kick to her face. Seeing that scene, the current Amiki Leo could only sigh to himself. Even Miki believed me. An S-rank job card, shining brightly, was pulled from Hayashi Miki's body. "So this is the power of a job," Luca exclaimed as he looked at the girl's body, pierced by a sword. He smiled triumphantly, holding the card he had just stolen. Compared to waiting, stealing from an NPC is much easier. Back in the present, Luca, with his new power, extended his hand towards Amiki Leo and proposed, "Shall we cooperate from now on?" To the offer of cooperation, Amiki Leo responded, a mysterious green aura knocking Luca down in astonishment. "Damn it! What did you do?" Luca roared as his subordinates were suddenly attacked by plant monsters. Amidst the chaotic scene, Amiki Leo spoke with sarcasm. "Cooperate?" He continued his act. "With you, the one who summoned these monsters," even though he was trembling inside. However, Luca burst into insane laughter. "Is this really the best a child can come up with? As if I'd believe that." He lunged forward, delivering a devastating punch that Amiki Leo couldn't react to in time. With a twisted face, Luca roared, "There's no way I'd work with someone like you." Suddenly, a terrifying tremor occurred, and the ground shook violently. From within the dust cloud, a monstrous figure with countless arms emerged, seizing a screaming individual. The one seized was Luca, who cried out in panic, "Stop! I'm the savior, you know." Suzuko revealed her monster form, tightening her grip on the self-proclaimed savior whom she had no need for. With a terrifying smile, her voice echoed in everyone's minds. "I've come to find Dad." Luca was stunned. He looked down at Amiki Leo, who was getting up, and stammered, "Wait, don't tell me." "You." Amiki Leo just smiled and gave a thumbs up. "Hey, I'm her dad." Completely broken, Luca frantically pleaded, "Damn it, I'll cooperate. I'll work with you. Please." "Dad is not a child," Suzuko roared angrily, punishing the one who dared to insult her master. After her outburst, the monster girl suddenly became drowsy. Sleepy. Can we go to sleep, Dad? Sure, Leo replied. But before that, Suzuko, deal with these guys. Yes, Dad. She happily obeyed, using her arms to gather up the small monsters, while Leo secretly pondered their true origin. A voice echoed in the darkness, holding on to a faint hope. The only silver lining is that we haven't encountered the boss yet. Now, let's get out of here. Immediately after, Leo frantically ran to Hayashi Miki, who was slumped on the ground. Miki, are you okay? Gasping for breath, Hayashi Miki's red eyes lost focus. She could only let out a weak cry. The boy was stunned, cold sweat pouring down as he realized the horrifying truth. What happened? A cold sword had pierced through her abdomen, blood staining the shattered ground. Dad too, a familiar voice echoed, and Suzuko appeared in the form of a giant monster covered in stitches. After completing the task, she gently lifted the tiny Leo in her palm, asking, "Is it all done, Dad?" Drowsiness overcame her. Suzuko rubbed her eyes, hugging her dad tightly. So sleepy. Suzuko will protect Dad, so please stay with Suzuko. Seeing her fading, Leo called out worriedly, "Hey, Suzuko?" But it was too late. The monster girl curled up in deep sleep amidst the small monsters, who had also become motionless. Suddenly, Leo felt a strange change in his body. Even my curse had also disappeared, the dark tentacles vanishing into thin air. A ghostly voice echoed from the plant entity hanging upside down from the ceiling. "Unaffected by me. That explains why that girl calls you Dad." Facing the true boss of the Black Forest, Leo didn't hesitate to activate his skill. Synchronization. Activate. The chosen ability transformed the boss into a new enemy, C-rank high-grade boss Whispering Flower. It cackled, "Both of you are my prey." The auxiliary skill was activated immediately after. Phantomization. With a duration of 20 minutes, Leo's body became transparent like a ghost, easily evading the monster's attack. I can escape. But what about Suzuko? He realized he couldn't leave her in this state, but the boss, Whispering Flower, saw through everything, its voice mocking. "You can't escape, you know?" Whispering Flower chuckled sinisterly. "The plants here are all my eyes." Leo realized in horror that he had been poisoned by its floral scent. The boy despaired. "Damn it. Looks like I can't escape." The monster ignored Leo, using a vine to lift the chin of the sleeping Suzuko and whispered, "When she's quiet, she's truly beautiful." It licked Suzuko's cheek in a gruesome manner, declaring, "I'm very particular about my food," Leo realized in shock. From the very beginning, it was targeting Suzuko, not me, Whispering Flower confirmed. "That's right. I must continue to evolve to regain his favor." When Leo questioned it, the monster roared angrily, "Don't you dare insult him." In its mind, an image of a powerful entity appeared, the god of monsters. It turned to Leo, contemptuously. "You, who merely raise a monster, are just an imposter." Leo was stunned. "It even knows I'm a keeper? Suzuko is his daughter, yet she calls you Dad," it said enviously. "You want to imitate him? How ridiculous," Whispering Flower scoffed. Suddenly, Leo seemed to understand something. Rather, the reason I was created to raise monsters," he smirked confidently, "is to be food for you, isn't it? Why didn't you say so sooner?" Leo's unexpected reaction made Whispering Flower pause slightly. It transformed into a giant shadow form, delivering an ultimatum. "If you become my slave, you won't have to die." Leo burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, that's a great offer." But then he raised his middle finger and growled, "But I refuse." The Whispering Flower licked its lips, letting out a savage, gleeful laugh. "You have no say in this," it roared, its oppressive aura enveloping Leo. Bound tightly by countless tentacles, the young man realized his phantomization time only had 10 minutes left. "I have to find a way to wake Suzuko." Leo transformed into a blue streak of light, frantically searching for an escape. The boss ordered its subordinates, "Capture it alive for me." In another corner of the battlefield, another player was screaming in despair as monsters surrounded them. Damn it. Leo gritted his teeth, cold sweat pouring down as the situation grew increasingly critical. Amidst the encirclement, he forced himself to think, is there any other way? Suddenly, Leo noticed Mickey's job card had fallen out of Luca, who lay motionless on the ground. A glimmer of hope sparked. If Luca could use it, so can I. He lunged to snatch the card, but the system cruelly crushed his hope. Job awakening not available. Are you kidding me? Just then, his phantomization state expired, and Leo's physical body reappeared, completely exposed. Facing the horde of monsters rushing towards him, he roared his last resort. Synchronization, activate! Leo's left eye glowed crimson, and Suzuko's true sight eye activated. Trying the same old trick again? The Whispering Flower sneered. I won't let you succeed. A surge of evil energy crashed down, making Leo clutch his head and collapse in pain. The synchronization process was forcibly interrupted, and he completely lost his ability to resist. "Go to sleep," the boss whispered, "and die within my memories." Through his crimson eye, Leo watched in horror as his opponent transformed. "This is its true form?" A terrifying entity emerged, its voice echoing. "Darling, your body is mine." Wrapped tightly in spectral tentacles, Leo realized in despair, spiritual contamination. This can't be an F-rank dungeon. In his final moments, he thought bitterly. "I died because of Suzuko in my previous life. Is it the same this life too?" Suddenly, all sensations of pain vanished, and Leo found himself floating in an endless white void. He shot up in surprise, his heterochromatic eyes wide. "I'm not dead yet." In the void, a system screen was still lit, making him even more bewildered. "Where am I?" An enthusiastic voice echoed from the void, followed by the appearance of a mysterious white door. Without hesitation, Leo decided to approach and open that fateful door. Inside was the sight of a blurry scientist kneeling amidst countless documents, proud of his masterpiece. Leo wondered in confusion, "What the hell is this? A memory being projected?" The scientist's eyes glowed maniacally. One crimson, one azure, exactly like Leo's. Seeing the scientist's flamboyant demeanor, Leo unconsciously saw an image of his past self. The man shouted loudly, activating a glowing red magic circle amidst the papers. "Appear, my masterpiece!" A bad premonition struck him, and Leo held his breath. Could it be? From the center of the circle, a small, stitched hand reached out, touching the blood-stained paper. A little girl with long black hair and bewildered red eyes sat up and asked her first question. "What am I?" The scientist pointed at her and solemnly declared, "Listen, your name shall be Suzuko." The innocent girl repeated her name, her red eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Suzu-ko." When the scientist extended his hand, the girl unhesitatingly placed her hand on his, and an invisible pact was established. He embraced his creation, whispering, "From now on, call me Dad." And the girl happily replied, "Dad!" The memory shattered, and Leo clutched his head in horror as gruesome images of Suzuko reappeared, screaming for food. In the dark memory space, Leo exclaimed in shock, "Is this for real?" He tried to calm himself to analyze the situation. "Calm down. In other words, this is inside Suzuko's memories? She looks so different." In the memory, the heterochromatic-eyed scientist smiled. "Suzuko, you are Dad's masterpiece. Are you ready?" He patted the innocent girl's head, who only knew to ask back, "Ready for what, Dad?" "Ready to save this world with Dad," the scientist declared with a smug look. Suddenly, the memory image shattered into digital fragments before Leo's eyes. He wondered in shock. "They're gone. What does that guy from the SGD organization really want?" Leo smirked, a premonition telling him. It seems that was just the prelude. A glowing door appeared, and he knew for sure, this is clearly a trap. Even so, he still unhesitatingly turned the doorknob, determined to see it through. As soon as the door creaked open, Suzuko poked her head out, exclaiming, "Long time no see, Dad. Suzuko missed you so much." The memory shifted again, and the scientist led Suzuko away. "Today, Dad has something to show you. Its name is..." He pointed at a flower in a glass cage, the whispering flower. A flower with animalistic characteristic. Leo froze as he realized. "That's the boss of the Black Forest?" The scientist mused. "But it's still missing something. Unlike my perfect Suzuko, it's not complete." A mysterious smile appeared on his lips as he pondered a difficult problem. Seeing Dad troubled, Suzuko quickly hugged him. "Dad, Suzuko will help." The girl looked up with clear eyes. "Is there anything I can do?" Leo observed the scene, while the scientist replied, "Thank you. I need your power, Suzuko. But just say if you don't want to. I'll find someone else," the scientist said, and Suzuko quickly replied, "I agree. What does Suzuko need to do?" He smiled sinisterly. "I want something you have, Suzuko. Something like... let's see, your eye." Leo, witnessing everything, was stunned. "Huh?" Yet, little Suzuko just smiled brightly and replied, "Yes." Without a moment's hesitation, the little girl gouged out her own eye. At the same time, Leo let out a desperate scream as his red eye throbbed intensely. With a blood-stained face, Suzuko held out the eyeball and innocently asked, "Is Suzuko a good girl?" The tormenting pain in his mind made Leo collapse. "It hurts so much." The scientist patted her head. "Such a good girl. I'm so happy I could help, Dad." Leo couldn't believe what he was seeing. "This can't be real." The man raised the eye. "Now, Suzuko, witness the power from your eye." He ordered a waiting bud-shaped creature. "Swallow it." The bud immediately absorbed the eyeball into its body, and then it transformed into the whispering flower, the tentacled monster Leo had just faced. Rage flared, Leo roared and lunged towards the scientist's illusion. You bastard! How dare you use your own child for experiments? You inhuman monster! He threw a punch filled with resentment at the one Suzuko called Dad. But the punch only passed through the illusion, shattering the figures of the father and daughter. Helpless, Leo collapsed. Damn it! What kind of father is Suzuko's dad? He's just a criminal. Leo clutched his head, growling in extreme pain. Why? Why can I feel Suzuko's pain? In the midst of the pure white space, strange doors suddenly appeared, astonishing him. Soon, countless doors sprouted like mushrooms, turning the place into a chaotic labyrinth. I haven't even touched them, Leo realized in shock as reality slipped out of control. A door suddenly swung open. A blinding white light swallowed him, revealing a horrifying memory. Inside, the image of a young Suzuko appeared, innocently feeding body parts to a monster and whispering, "Grow up fast and strong." From her eyes, arms, legs, heart, to even her memories, everything was taken. Yet the little girl only knew to ask the man in the lab, "Are you my dad?" Back in reality, Mike Leo burst into insane laughter, his body cracking from unbearable pain. He collapsed, screaming in despair as the truth was revealed. That girl, she's just food for monsters? In the memory, a ravaged Suzuko lay in a pool of blood, faintly calling out Dad. The scientist's voice echoed, falsely gentle. "Suzuko, are you doing well?" While Leo could only watch helplessly, the man's silhouette appeared, and a glimmer of hope flickered in her remaining eye. "Dad?" Suzuko rejoiced, trying to drag her incomplete body towards him. "Dad, did you come to visit me?" The cold-blooded scientist smiled. "Dad brought the whole family here. Look, Suzuko, they're very happy to see you." Following him was a hideous pack of skull monsters, growling as they charged forward. Surrounded, Suzuko trembled and asked in despair, "Who are they? Does Dad not need Suzuko anymore? You're broken, beyond repair." The man turned his back, coldly pronouncing, "Forgive me, Suzuko?" Heart-wrenching screams echoed as the pack of monsters tore at her body. "It hurts so much. Dad, don't abandon Suzuko." At the same time, Leo laughed through tears, his body shattering. "Don't be afraid, Suzuko. I'm hurting too." He bowed his head, bitterly uttering the final truth. "Both you and I were deceived. He and I, we are both fake fathers." A system notification rang out, synchronizing the eye of truth, progress at 50%. In his mind, Mike Leo braced himself against the soul-shattering pain. He gritted his teeth and made a vow. "I will become your true father." Leo suddenly opened his eyes, grinning sinisterly at his enemy. "Hey, ugly, it's fun to see your hideous face again." The whispering flower roared in astonishment. "How did you wake up?" It furiously tightened its tentacles, growling. "Let me show you hell once more." However, Leo just laughed loudly in defiance. "Come on, monster," the whispering flower confidently retorted. "Let's see how long that attitude lasts." Then unleashed a destructive surge of energy. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, but Leo only mumbled, "It really hurts, but compared to Suzuko's pain, it's nothing." His mind now only repeated a single word. Synchronization. Third stage synchronization. 80%. Leo shot up, covering one eye. "I'm back. You can stop eating now." With an insane grin, he declared, "If you intend to eat Suzuko, then I'll eat all of you." Tears streamed down his face, contorted with rage. "Fair's fair, right?" Immediately, an invisible force descended, crushing the pack of skull monsters. Leo grabbed one, his hand crushing its bloodshot eye. Then he screamed Yahoo! And ferociously tore at his enemies. He roared amidst the battle. "Let me have a taste, you beasts." A swarm of monsters with countless horrifying eyes immediately rushed forward, surrounding him. The remaining skull monsters also didn't miss the chance, charging straight ahead. Standing amidst the ravaged battlefield, Leo grimaced. "You guys taste like shit." Inside his mind, Mikey Leo's synchronization rate had reached 70%, and his mental corruption deepened. A ravenous hunger surged, and Leo roared, "Humph, still not enough. Let me eat more monsters." A white-haired female monster appeared, challenging. "Do you want to be put to sleep that badly?" It grinned sinisterly, initiating a mental attack. "Then, enter my memories, and die." Leo was pulled into a memory space, where he embraced a small Suzuko and gently said, "You don't need to be afraid anymore. I'm here." Feeling the warmth, Suzuko innocently asked, "Father?" Leo smiled, accepting his new destiny. "Yes, not before, but now. I'm your father." Suddenly, a blue phantom of the scientist appeared, scoffing. "This is just a memory." He continued to threaten. "This memory was created by my will. Even if you devour me, you will die here." That spirit explained that absorbing a monster's will was like drinking poison, and Leo wouldn't last long. The system panel flashed red. The synchronization rate had soared to 90%, and mental corruption reached a dangerous threshold. But Leo, with new eyes growing on his face, grabbed the scientist. I am Suzuko's father. Your memories are disgusting. Shattering the illusion, Leo returned to reality, facing the terrified boss. What in the world are you? He flashed a deranged smile. Don't be so scared. You can put me to sleep like before. The boss was stunned as its tentacles automatically loosened, freeing Leo. The young man spread his arms wide, provoking. Come on, hurry up. Aren't you going to use them? The female monster was utterly horrified, sweating profusely. Leo roared in extreme fury, wanting to drag the scientist out for revenge. Otherwise, who am I supposed to share this pain with? With you? His will had completely overwhelmed the boss, and a notification appeared. Nurturing conditions met. The system presented a final choice, as the C-rank boss was being crushed by Leo's power. The female monster realized in horror that she was completely immobile. His will is too strong. How can this be? Amike Leo proudly declared. Look, this is your will. It makes me stronger. With a deranged smile, he activated something. If you don't want to play with me, then I guess you'll have to play with Suzuko, Leo said coldly, making the female monster scream in terror. Suzuko appeared in her giant form, angrily asking, Who did this to father? While Leo reassured her, Father is fine, go play with her. Leo cruelly encouraged, If you get bored, you can eat her, and Suzuko happily agreed. Facing her enemy, Suzuko growled, Hey, who hurt father? And the female monster quickly denied. It wasn't me. He hurt himself. The female monster tried to explain, but Suzuko just roared. You lying woman. Lying is very bad. Suzuko roared and delivered a devastating punch to her screaming enemy. Meanwhile, Leo found Hayashi Miki severely wounded. Miki, are you alright? Gasping on the ground, Miki asked. Hey, Himajin. What exactly are you? Leo smiled in response. A father to a stubborn daughter. It's going to hurt, but bear with it, he said. Then grabbed the hilt of the sword embedded in her. The sword was yanked out in a spray of fresh blood. Miki's eyes rolled back in extreme pain. Immediately after, she unexpectedly grabbed Leo and punched him straight in the face. Are you still going to lie? You're working with that madman, aren't you? Miki roared, pinning him to the ground. She raised her sword to kill him, but Leo desperately shouted, Only Luca deceived you. Please believe me. Miki froze, realizing her wound had stopped bleeding, while Leo explained, If I were your enemy, I wouldn't have stopped your bleeding. This is just a temporary measure, Leo said. First, put down your sword. After realizing her mistake, Hayashi Miki quickly apologized while Suzuko was still enjoying the boss. Amike Leo anxiously asked about Miki's condition. Anyway, are you all right? Any changes in your mind or body? Not really. I feel great now, Miki replied, confused, not noticing anything unusual. Leo revealed a horrifying truth. Luca pulled out your job card. That means your power has been stolen. Overwhelmed with panic, Miki grabbed Leo, shouting, Huh? What should I do? Leo smiled confidently, offering a proposal. There's a way, but it comes with risks. If you lend me your power, I'm willing to help you. Without a moment's hesitation, Miki decisively agreed. All right, what should I do? Leo was a little surprised by her decisiveness. That was fast. You helped me anyway. I trust you, Miki explained, making Leo smile, touched. Is she naive or foolish? Leo thought to himself, then placed his hand on the ground and called out loudly, Suzuko. A giant figure appeared, and Suzuko obediently replied, Yes, Tilda? Miki collapsed to the ground, overwhelmed by the terrifying pressure emanating from the monster. She made a very naive deduction. He calls her father. So this is Himajin's daughter? Leo smiled and commanded, Suzuko, I have a request. How is that woman? He asked, and Suzuko replied that she had eaten her, so Leo coaxed. I'll give you something tastier, so can you spit her out for a bit? Okay. Suzuko happily agreed, bringing her sharp claws to her stomach. Don't look, Miki screamed, rushing to cover Leo's eyes. Ignoring her, Suzuko tore open her own stomach, revealing a giant mouth inside and pulling out the boss. Miki fell backward in horror, while Leo just scratched his head and chuckled. Good girl, Suzuko. The white-haired boss was thrown to the ground, lying motionless in a puddle of slime, completely subdued. The defeated boss lay crumpled on the ground, trembling helplessly. Amike Leo calmly sat down, but his words were directed at Miki. My request for you, Miki, ni. With a chilling smile, he delivered his final verdict. Is to destroy it. Don't you dare underestimate me, the boss roared, a surge of dark green energy violently erupting. From the ground, specters rose. Deceased players revived into an army of ghouls. An entire legion of the undead charged forward madly, their sole objective to tear apart the living. Hayashi Miki exclaimed in shock. They've come back to life? There are so many. Suzuko narrowed her fiery red eyes, eagerly asking, "Can Suzuko eat them?" But Leo simply replied coldly, "No need." The young man calmly faced the boss. "All done?" Receiving only a furious roar in response. "When I die, you're coming with me." The boss cackled maniacally, determined to drag its enemy down to the grave. "Just try your best to survive," it challenged, as a sphere of green light formed in Leo's palm. "That's right." Leo smirked, and strange cracks began to spread across his face. A wave of green energy swept across the battlefield, engulfing the revived monster. The monsters suddenly froze, their lifeless eyes glowing before they shuffled forward like puppets. "They've stopped." Hayashi Miki breathed a sigh of relief, unable to believe her eyes. She turned to question him. "Himajin, what did you do?" But Leo only replied with a casual When she saw his face clearly, Miki shrieked in horror. "Your face! What happened?" "This is corrupted psyche, a risk I have to accept," Leo explained, while Suzuko whispered, "Dad is so cool." He suddenly grabbed the stunned girl's hand. "Help me." Confused by his action, Miki's eyes were filled with worry. "Are you all right?" Hayashi Miki patted Leo's head, scolding him affectionately. "You're like my little brother, don't try to act tough anymore." The young man grumbled in annoyance. "I think my mental age is older than yours." Leo pointed at the subdued boss. "Miki ni, the solution is right here," he explained. "The Black Forest dungeon is an exploration type, where job holders can freely enter and exit, but because of Luca, its difficulty increased from F rank to C rank," Leo continued, recalling his old foe. He lied that Luca had brainwashed everyone for the bounty, secretly thinking he had to hide Suzuko's involvement. Meanwhile, Suzuko tightened her grip on the desperately screaming boss. "You're not getting away." Leo held out a knife, revealing his true objective. "A C-rank boss will drop an item, and that's exactly what you need right now," he said, making Miki smile decisively. "All right." Drawing her longsword, Hayashi Miki declared boldly, "Leave the rest to me." She turned to the giant monster. "Suzuko-san, I'll take it down. Please release it," and received immediate agreement. The boss was thrown to the ground, utterly helpless before the waiting blade. With a sky-piercing shout, Hayashi Miki swung her sword, striking the monster's head directly. The system panel displayed an error message, unable to recognize Miki as the dungeon clearer because she was an unspecialized player. Immediately after, the system self-corrected, recognizing Amike Leo as the one who completed the dungeon, causing him to flash a satisfied smile. Suzuko proudly boasted, "Himajin, I took it down," while Leo could only reply tiredly, "Yeah, thanks." He turned to Miki, saying, "Regarding my identity, I want to keep it a secret," which surprised her. Standing before the system panel, Leo decided to hide his personal information and choose a new alias for himself. His finger glided across the screen, entering the name Keeper before the system began distributing rewards. Before that, Amike Leo said, "Let's fulfill Mikini's wish." Suddenly, Hayashi Miki felt her body bound, and she asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" Leo smiled triumphantly, holding up a blue core. "Got it. The boss item. An elemental monster core." Hayashi Miki asked skeptically, "How do I use it? Don't tell me I have to swallow it?" With eyes flashing red, Leo confirmed, "That's right," leaving Miki stunned. "You're kidding, right?" Suddenly, Miki coughed up a mouthful of blood, her body feeling as if it were being torn apart from the inside, causing Leo to scream in horror. "Miki ni?" Seeing Miki collapse, Suzuko casually asked, "Is she dead yet? Can I eat her?" But Leo immediately dismissed it. "No." Supporting his gasping teammate, Leo asked worriedly, only to receive a desperate reply, "I can't feel anything. Am I dying?" "It's all right," Leo asserted, clenching his fist as green energy began to gather. "I'll help you." He focused his power into his palm, ancient characters glowing brightly. "Just a moment. I won't let you die," Leo whispered, gently placing the monster core into Miki's mouth. With no other choice, the young girl swallowed the gem, carrying a fragile hope of survival. Elemental energy immediately erupted, enveloping both of them, and Leo sighed in relief. "Good, it's working." Among countless types of cores, there were golden ones worth a fortune. But what they needed now was pure power. Leo explained that by eliminating the boss's will, the user could absorb the purest elemental power. But something seemed wrong. Miki floated in midair, swallowed by a massive surge of energy. Leo realized in horror. Damn it, she's being controlled by the elemental power. A violent energy explosion threw Leo backward, fortunately caught by Suzuko's giant hand. "Suzuko!" Leo shouted, but the dungeon queen only stared at Miki, her eyes burning with hatred. "That woman dared to harm Dad. Unforgivable." Suzuko bared her sharp teeth, hungrily asking, "Can I eat her?" But Leo firmly reminded her, "You promised not to eat humans. The Dungeon Queen smiled contentedly. Dad is so kind. While Leo, confused, wondered, so what do we do now? Leo suddenly shivered, realizing Suzuko's aura had changed. If I don't answer carefully, I might get eaten too. To reassure the monster, he probed, if there's any danger, will you protect me? And Suzuko immediately roared. Suzuko will protect Papa. Putting Suzuko aside for a moment, Leo looked towards the imprisoned Miki, his mind in turmoil. How do I wake her up? He dismissed the idea of relying on the dangerous boss and decided to act himself, channeling his willpower into his palm. But his efforts were futile. The distance was too great for his power to reach Miki. Despair rose in Leo's eyes as he realized, at this rate, Miki's body won't last. Just then, the side effects of his power struck, making him painfully realize, damn it. In the end, I still have to rely on Suzuko. With no other choice, Leo turned and shouted, Suzuko, give me a hand. Before the queen's innocent question, he gave a crazy command. I want you to throw me towards her. Suzuko didn't hesitate, replied, yes, Papa, and used her giant hand to firmly grasp his body. Suzuko, slowly. Leo cried out in panic as he felt the immense power gathering in her arm. Ignoring his warning, Suzuko roared fly tilde and threw him like a cannonball, soaring at terrifying speed. Leo could only shout into the wind. Not slow at all, but well done. He crashed into the green energy sphere that was enveloping Miki. A violent explosion erupted, engulfing everything in thick smoke and dust. Amidst the smoke, Leo's figure emerged, supporting Miki and calling her name in desperation. Wake up, he shouted, but the only reply was the girl's soulless, glowing eyes. A sudden flick of the fingers jolted Hayashi Miki awake from her trance. You're finally awake. Amike Leo smiled in relief as the girl groggily asked what had happened. Realizing she was sitting amidst vines with her clothes tattered, Miki blushed, embarrassed that she had almost become a vegetable. Don't look, she cried out in alarm, but Leo quickly turned away, asserting, I didn't see anything. The awkwardness passed, and Miki looked worriedly at Leo's hand. Has the spiritual corruption gotten worse? Just then, Suzuko appeared, full of killing intent, growling, You wicked woman, I won't forgive you. Stop it, Suzuko. Leo calmly stood in front of her. She's Papa's friend. After calming his loyal daughter, he turned back and offered an item. Oh, right, here. Miki was astonished to receive her job card back, hearing Leo say, You can use it now. I'm leaving now. Keep it a secret that you met me. Leo instructed one last time, then prepared to depart with Suzuko. Wait. At least tell me your name, Miki, in a newly neat outfit, called after him. She sharply questioned, Your alias and your secrets. Are they all for Suzuko-san? Her gaze became resolute. Are you human? Or a monster? I'd like to know the answer to that too, Leo replied with a spooky smile as his face momentarily distorted. Carried in Suzuko's arms like a doll, he challenged. What do you think? Amidst the tense atmosphere, Suzuko innocently declared, Papa is Papa, leaving Miki completely bewildered. My name is Amike Leo. The mysterious boy finally revealed his identity as he and his guardian faded into the mist. Miki smiled, repeating the name as if engraving it. Amike Leo. At the same time, a system notification rang out, and the dungeon space began to crack and shatter. The dungeon was cleared in just 23 minutes and 50 seconds by a speedrunner. The shocking news stunned everyone. What did you say? Amidst the spatial fragments, the crowd cheered as the dungeon vanished. The leaderboard updated, and a brand new name proudly sat at number 1. Keeper. 10 hours after the Black Forest dungeon was conquered, the city was still in disarray. However, at a subway station, a mysterious group from the Manifestation Association arrived too late. A monstrous hand clenched tightly, the ground cracking with fury. The two-headed monster spoke upon seeing his comrade's corpse. I thought. Look, such a clean cut. Another member roared. What a cruel act. The one named Bonerend commanded. Silence, let me think. He analyzed. The core is gone, a hole in the chest. The perpetrator clearly understands the weakness of spirit monsters. Just then, their leader appeared, coldly declaring, The Manifestation Association has lost a member. Felmina, the leader, mused. She was the closest to the monster god. She turned to a deformed subordinate. Chell, can you recreate the image from before she died? The one-eyed monster bowed in obedience. Anything for Inego. A stream of crimson energy shot out from Chell's giant eye, space distorted, forming a chaotic vortex of memories. In the flashback, Amike Leo appeared, enveloped by tentacles, provoking, Why are you letting go? Hurry up. And then, his face distorted with countless eyes, he screamed a name. Monster God. In the flashback, Amike Leo's distorted image screamed wildly, making Felmina cry out, Monster! Bonerend exclaimed in shock. Are you kidding me? She was killed by a human child? Rage flared. He growled. He dared to insult the Great One. I swear I will. The memory shifted again, and a giant Suzuko appeared, angrily asking, "Who did this to Papa?" Felmina froze, realizing the monster's identity. The Queen of Destruction called him Papa? The horrified monsters deduced that if a human could keep the queen, then he must be an even higher entity. A flash of insight struck Felmina. She realized that the one who stood above even the monster gods was the leader they had been searching for. Wild hope erupted, and Felmina laughed loudly. We survivors need a monster like him. The female leader's energy erupted violently, throwing her astonished subordinates away. Regaining her composure, Felmina declared, I lost my composure. We must contact him, the incarnation of the Great One. She turned to her subordinates and ordered, Doll, you look the most human. Go and ascertain his motives. A female monster stepped forward, transformed into a splendid lady, and bowed to receive the order. It is an honor. With sharp eyes, Doll whispered, Big sister. At the same time, at the Job Holder Association headquarters in Getsuran City, shocking news was spreading. The employees buzzed with excitement over the news of Keeper, the one who had cleared the dungeon at an incredible speed within 24 hours. They debated whether a beta tester could achieve such an extraordinary feat in a mutated dungeon. Standing nearby, Hayashi Miki muttered about the strange name of the rising hero, who was none other than Leo. Suddenly, a woman in business attire approached. Miss Hayashi Miki? She introduced herself. I'm Jenna, from the cooperative. There are a few things I'd like to ask you. At the association, Jenna smiled meaningfully. It's about the Black Forest. You're from there too, aren't you? Hayashi Miki flinched, evading. I've already reported everything, but Jenna focused on one target. It's about the player Keeper. Memories of Amaiki Leo and the giant monster Suzuko suddenly flooded Miki's mind. She silently thought about the old promise, that he had entrusted her with the secret of Suzuko to avoid unnecessary attention. Meanwhile, at an abandoned hotel in the heart of the city, strange tentacles emerged from the ground. Amaiki Leo sat amidst the rubble, deciding to check his status board after the battle. He sighed upon seeing that his profession, Dreadkeeper, was still at F rank, even though his level had increased, and spiritual corruption was still a nuisance. In return, the dungeon clear reward was a unique C-rank mimicry crystal. Leo couldn't help but be astonished by the rarity of the item he had just received. At his will, the crystal immediately transformed into a sword glowing with green energy. It then transformed into a bow, but Leo pushed his excitement aside to address a more important matter. He recalled the Defiled Eye, an item containing Suzuko's memories, which he had obtained from a terrifying tentacled monster. Leo called Suzuko's name, and she immediately appeared, responding sweetly. I have a gift for you, he smiled affectionately. Holding the eye that was emitting a reddish-black aura, Leo gestured for her to come closer. He placed the eye on her chest, and Suzuko whispered Father, as she felt her body become complete. Immediately, Suzuko's eyes flared with a deadly red light. A massive surge of energy erupted, causing her to scream. Ah, this feeling is so strange. Even Amaiki Leo had to raise his hand to shield himself, stunned by the incredibly terrifying pressure of power. Leo suddenly realized a harsh truth. Wait, the father in her memories isn't me. A worry arose in him as he gripped his weapon tightly. What if she no longer considers me her father? He braced himself, preparing for the worst-case scenario as giant hands reached out for him. However, Suzuko only affectionately hugged him, whispering, I love you, father, which left Leo dumbfounded, realizing he had worried for nothing. All right, put me down now, the young man cried out in embarrassment, trying to push away the giant face. After a while, Leo decided to check the situation again. Suzuko, let's see how your status has changed. The status board displayed Corrupted Zombie, A rank monster, but Leo suddenly cried out in pain. A fierce surge of green energy erupted from his body, causing him to growl. Side effects again? 3 auxiliary red eyes appeared on his face as he gritted his teeth. Is it because I used willpower? I clearly had it under control before. The pain exceeded its limit, and Leo collapsed to the ground to Suzuko's shock. Father? In her new form with multiple arms, she rushed forward in a panic. What's wrong? Suzuko anxiously looked down at Leo's unconscious form, his hand still enveloped by a ghostly aura. She gently picked him up, innocently thinking, he's asleep, he must be very tired. But then she noticed the dark patterns spreading on his arm. And he's injured. Placing Leo on the bed, Suzuko blamed herself. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. Her fiery red eyes shone with determination as she silently promised, please get well soon. That image suddenly brought back a distant memory, when a tiny Suzuko asked her real father, Father? What are you doing? The man in the white lab coat gently patted the little girl's head, who innocently asked, What is utopia? A mysterious smile briefly appeared on his face, which was obscured by digital pixels. In a fragment of memory, the father gently told little Suzuko about a utopian world, a place filled with hope. Back in reality, Suzuko stood silently by the bed, her silhouette enveloping Aniclimax, who was in a daze. She gently took his hand, a silent connection forming. Lying down beside the one she had chosen, a new realization suddenly dawned in her mind. I remember now. With a serene smile and a tear rolling down her cheek, she affirmed her own truth. Father is still father. Suzuko is still Suzuko. The morning light filtered into the room, signaling the start of a new day. Aniclimax slowly woke up, his heavy eyes opening to a hazy reality. He sat up abruptly, trying to shake off the headache and piece together the fragments of memory from yesterday's horrifying event. He recalled the pain of mental corruption, as an illusion of demonic wings sprouting from his back horrified him. Looking up, he faced an even more terrifying sight. Countless heads of Suzuko staring at him, asking in unison, "Is Dad okay?" What the hell? A horrifying thought ran down the young man's spine. The illusion vanished, leaving only a single Suzuko hanging upside down from the ceiling, her bizarre actions leaving Leo bewildered. Looking down at his mutated arm, he realized the situation was worsening. Damn it, I'm starting to hallucinate. Unable to let this continue, Leo meditated, focusing his will to suppress the dark energy invading his body. His eyes glowed green as he poured his entire mind into controlling the chaotic power. And then, the grotesque patterns on his arm gradually faded, bringing a precious moment of calm. Standing up with the tamed energy, Leo realized he could use his old training methods to master this new power. But his brief moment of confidence was shattered by a sudden embrace from behind, and Suzuko's whining call, "Dad, Tilda." With glowing red eyes and a wide grin revealing sharp teeth, she made her first request. Suzuko's hungry Tilda, hugged tightly from behind by Suzuko. Leo asked in confusion, "All right, is anyone else from the previous group here?" He wondered why she had returned to her child form. Perhaps memories of her father had caused the change. Leo silently concluded that was likely the reason. While Suzuko hovered in front of him, Suzuko suddenly pulled up her shirt, revealing her almost empty stomach cavity, and lamented, "There's only a little bit of crystal left from the Black Forest monster. You've almost eaten all of them?" Leo gave a wry smile, affectionately calling her a glutton. He realized a lucrative opportunity. Suzuko could turn monster corpses into valuable crystals. Leo promised to buy her delicious food, and in return, he would take these crystals to sell. Yes, Suzuko happily agreed immediately. The scene shifts to the bustling city of Getsuran, where the job holder cooperative had been established. Leo, in new attire, walked down the street with Suzuko in her transparent spirit form. He decided to stay away from the cooperative, choosing the black market as his place of business. Even though the dungeon had only appeared a week ago, this illegal market was bustling with activity. Leo's gaze fell upon a man, Tokura, who would become the boss of this city in 10 years. He approached as Tokura was boasting about his power and offered, "I want to sell some dungeon resources." Tokura gave him a look full of contempt and suspicion. "Get lost," the engineer waved his hand. "I don't need trouble from stolen goods." While Suzuko whispered that she didn't like him, Leo calmly retorted, "If you take a look, you'll know they're not stolen goods." Finishing his words, he spread open his palm, revealing green crystals radiating pure energy. Tokuro's expression changed completely, and he stammered in astonishment. What kind of crystal is this?" Leo calmly introduced his goods as monster crystals, while Tokuro showed skepticism. "I can't deal in goods of unknown origin." Nevertheless, he still decided, "Let me check it." Then activated a magical analysis panel. The results appeared. A crystal from Kyo of the Black Forest, 20% purity, worth up to 10,000 gold. Tokuro's face drained of color, and he stammered, "Black Forest? How the hell did you get such a pure item?" Leo merely smirked. "Just consider it my secret art. Are you buying, or should I go elsewhere?" Immediately, the engineer changed his attitude, eagerly extending his hand. "I'll take them all. I am Tokuro." The deal was sealed with a handshake, and Leo pocketed 100,000 gold for the entire batch. Leaving the market, he thought to himself, "This is enough to cover Suzuko's food expenses," and invited her to find a feast. Holding his phone, which confirmed the payment, Leo couldn't help but smile as he recalled his past struggles just to survive. Suddenly, Suzuko's spirit form whispered a warning, "Dad, someone's following us." Leo stopped dead, realizing he had been immediately sold out by Kuro to a suspicious group of people. Meanwhile, in a secret office, Tokuro was reporting to his superior via hologram about the mysterious kid and the unique goods. He put forth an interesting hypothesis. "He might give us information about the speed player." The voice from the hologram resonated powerfully. "Well done. Continue to monitor that kid." Back in the dark alley, the thugs had surrounded Leo, causing Suzuko to ask worriedly, "Are they here to catch Suzuko?" "It's not you," Leo reassured. "I'm their target," Suzuko innocently suggested. "Then can I eat them?" The leader gave them no more time, growling an order to his subordinates. "Grab him!" Leo's eyes flashed with determination. The situation was critical. "Let's run, Suzuko," he shouted, decisively turning and fleeing from the fierce pursuit. In contrast to Leo, Suzuko seemed extremely amused. "Hee hee Tilda, so fun. Wait for me, Dad." Cornered, both had to flee headlong from the thugs' relentless pursuit. Realizing they couldn't shake them off, Leo decided to change tactics. "This will go on forever. Suzuko, to the rooftop." Hearing the command, Suzuko immediately used her spirit arms to lift her master up. Both soared into the air, leaving the bewildered thugs below. They could only stare in shock and yell, "He flew! Is this brat a job holder?" Leo gently landed on the roof of a tall building. He analyzed the situation, while Suzuko whispered with hungry instinct, "Want to eat them?" Leo suddenly had an idea, and he smiled provocatively. "What? You guys want those crystals too? Then come and get them." Provoked, the thugs below furiously yelled, "You insolent brat, don't mess with us." "Let's go, Suzuko," Leo said, then jumped to another building with her. Suddenly, he stopped short as someone landed right in front of him. Three strange men radiating a blue aura blocked their path. "Who are these guys?" Leo muttered, feeling this had gone too far just for a few crystals. The leader greeted, "Hey, nice to meet you." He introduced himself confidently. "We're from the Hei Ying Company. Sorry, but I'll have to ask you to follow my instructions." Leo broke out in a cold sweat, realizing these were job holders, while Suzuko whispered, "I'm so hungry." At the same time, in Getsuran Square, Doll was scanning the crowd, searching for someone. Her eyes were obscured by shadow, a mysterious smile on her lips as she whispered, "All of you, my friends, aren't you?" Doll whispered, dark purple energy spreading from beneath her feet. In the crowded square, she called out, "Hey, everyone," and immediately, everyone froze, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. With a wicked smile, she asked her puppets, "Have any of you seen my friend? And this big friend too," she said, creating an energy image of Suzuko. "They are my best friends," she affirmed, looking at the soulless crowd with glowing purple eyes. Doll's face was shrouded in shadow, only her glowing red eyes visible. "You don't know? Then, go find them." Meanwhile, Hayashi Miki ran while on the phone. "A summons for job holders? Understood, I'll be right there." Doll glanced sideways, seemingly sensing the presence of a nearby job holder. Miki impatiently urged the person on the other end, "I'll hurry so." "Huh? Why aren't you rushing?" "Oh, for heaven's sake." She sighed as she passed the strangely motionless crowd. Suddenly, Miki stopped. I feel like someone's watching." She realized the entire crowd was staring at her. "It's like someone's following me?" Her gaze landed on an elegant figure. "Wow, Tilda. That person is so beautiful, Tilda." Seeing the beautiful woman approaching, Miki awkwardly prepared to greet her. "Huh. She's coming towards me? I'll try saying hello." "Hello." Doll's eyes flashed with a deadly gaze. Miki was horrified to realize her body was dissolving in a blue light. She disappeared? "Why?" "Found it," Doll smiled, holding a stream of blue energy. "Information about my friend Tilda. I can feel the boy's will from her body. And the scent of the Heilin Master too." A drop of crimson blood fell, marking the end of the hunt. At the same time in the square, Doll whispered to an exhausted Hayashi Miki, while the manipulated crowd stood motionless like puppets. Back on the rooftop, a Mikey Leo tried to de-escalate the situation. "I'm just a general store owner, I don't have any high-end goods." He forced a laugh, sweating profusely. "If you want, I'll show you where I get my stock." The redhead roared impatiently. "Stop playing dumb, I'll beat you to a pulp." But another muscular guy's devastating punch harmlessly grazed past, and Leo muttered, "Whoa, that was close." Choked by an invisible pressure, the boy cried out in panic, "Everyone, calm down." Leo dodged an earth-shattering punch while trying to persuade them. "We should talk this out properly." Surrounded, he continued to stall for time, while Suzuko behind him seemed utterly delighted. How fun. The subordinates were confused, unable to touch their target, but the leader merely smirked. "Interesting kid." He coldly stated, "Feel free to beat him to a pulp." The entire group charged simultaneously, leaving Leo just enough time to utter a, "Huh?" The muscular guy was stunned when his punch landed. "But why?" The leader stepped forward, blue energy gathering in his hand. "Hey kid, do you know the speed player of Heilin?" Leo froze, completely bewildered by what was happening. "What's that?" The leader sneered, revealing his own speed player title through a system panel. Bound by the blue energy, Leo suddenly realized the problem and clutched his aching hand. Are Heilin's rewards really that rare? He let out a pained scream as the energy stream tightened around his body. Leo was lifted into the air as the leader revealed his purpose, while Suzuko cheered delightedly. "Dad's flying!" With a sinister smile, the leader interrogated, "You probably don't know where they are, do you?" Lifted into the air, Amike Leo was warned by Akutsu. "You'd better hurry up." Akutsu smiled smugly, laying out his terms. "Tell me, and I'll let you live." "Why are you looking for him?" Leo asked painfully, receiving an arrogant reply. "To find the secret to clearing the dungeon, it's obvious." Leo secretly smirked, disdaining this cheap attack and intending to extract some information. But then an incident occurred. His face changed, completely unprepared for the sudden intervention. Suzuko's giant spirit body suddenly appeared behind the enemy, pouting, "It's Suzuko. What are you doing to my dad?" "You bad guy," Suzuko roared furiously, while Akutsu stubbornly pressed. "Tell me what you know." "Stop!" Leo yelled, a surge of green energy beginning to erupt from his body. The vortex of green energy swept away all restraints, sending Leo's body soaring into the air. Akutsu was stunned, unable to believe his eyes, while Suzuko's spirit body asked blankly, "Huh? Dad?" Leo gently landed on the ground before the furious gaze of the henchman. "What did you do? Do you think you're so great?" One of them suddenly cried out in panic. "Wait, what's wrong with his face?" A strange pattern had appeared under Leo's eyes, and he smiled to reassure a worried Suzuko. "Dad's fine. I almost revealed Suzuko," he explained, then coldly refused. "I don't like talking about that player." "You brat," Akutsu roared, tearing off his jacket. "Playtime's over," he commanded. "Get pumped, boys." And the entire group was enveloped in amplification magic. With a crazed look, Akutsu growled, "Tear him apart." Empowered, the entire Black Owl group charged like a pack of hungry beasts. Leo calmly analyzed. Wind element acceleration? That's a troublesome skill. But another problem arose, Suzuko whimpered. "So hungry, Dad." While her hunger status alert appeared before him, Leo's priority shifted. "I need to find something for Suzuko to eat." A Black Owl member lunged forward at terrifying speed, making Leo exclaim, "So fast." Knocked to the ground, Leo clicked his tongue as his opponent delivered a finishing blow from above. Surrounded by all four, Leo accepted the challenge. All right, two red secondary eyes suddenly opened, and Leo smiled as a green energy orb formed. This makes it easier. A wave of mental attack spread, knocking back the entire Black Owl group. Akutsu was horrified. A mental attack? While his comrades collapsed, unable to control their bodies, Leo realized Suzuko's hunger was causing side effects, and he had to act immediately. Hovering in the air, Leo coldly ordered the leader, "Hey you! Give me a monster item." Akutsu roared in fury, refusing to accept defeat. "Don't think you've won yet." He poured all his power into the magic circle beneath his feet, determined to unleash an all-out attack. "Try this." Giant energy claws tore through the air, but Leo calmly remarked, "Impressive." With a confident smile, he called his companion, "Suzuko, give me a hand. He has a lot of food." Suzuko's spirit body roared with excitement, charging straight forward. "All right, helping now," Akutsu still yelled smugly. "Hey you brat, have you learned your lesson yet?" But the destructive attack was easily blocked by Suzuko's spirit body, and Leo softly said, "Thanks, Suzuko." Standing before the defeated foe, Leo asked, and the spirit behind him growled in agreement. "Now, where are those monster items?" He flashed a crazed smile. "If there aren't any, all of you will die here." "Well, I'll die too." Completely broken, Akutsu quickly pleaded, "I have some. Take anything you want. Please don't kill me." Leo held the spoils of war, a monster arm, and happily asked, "Can I take this?" Leo casually sat on one of the henchmen, offering the spoils to Suzuko's spirit body and saying, "Help yourself. It's all yours." Akutsu was horrified to see the item vanish, muttering, "Himajin-san, we're even now, so..." Leo changed the subject with a sly smile. "Information about the speed player. They're really offering 6 million for it?" Akutsu confirmed the hefty bounty, while Leo feigned disinterest but secretly calculated. "But I don't want the company to suspect," Leo thought, then declared bluntly, "See, I hate him." Sweating profusely, Akutsu stammered, "Why is that?" Leo's expression turned venomous. "Because he's the one who put me in this situation. The speed player is extremely bad news." To intimidate, Leo displayed his grotesque secondary eyes. "Do you want to look like this? He gave me this as a reward." Akutsu's face paled, and he hastily refused in utter horror. "I don't want to." Suddenly, a notification appeared on Akutsu's phone. "Huh? A summons?" Amike Leo glanced at the screen, his attention drawn by the unexpected development. An urgent alert was broadcast everywhere. "Emergency summons for job holders? What's happening in Getsuran City? Interesting. Let's go check it out," Leo decided, despite Akutsu's bewildered question. "Huh? You're going too?" He turned back with a deadly, knowing smile. Is there a problem? Immediately, the entire Black Owl group quickly waved their hands. No, no, in fact, it's our honor, while Leo cheerfully invited them to set off. At the same time, a giant rift radiating blue energy tore through the city sky. Getsuran City Mayor Fujinami Satoru and his female assistant were at the scene. A dungeon rift, a harbinger of its descent. The mayor remained calm. We haven't reached that stage yet. Unlike previous dungeon clears, we have a gathering of powerful players, he said, looking down at the crowd that had gathered below. Amidst the crowd, Amiki Leo analyzed the situation. This rift is an incomplete dungeon, or perhaps a large-scale dungeon. Suddenly, Suzuko's giant spirit body appeared, whispering to Amiki Leo, "Daddy!" With a wide grin, the monster girl declared, "I smell family." Leo flinched, unable to hide his surprise. "Suzuko's family?" he asked again to be sure, and Suzuko affirmed, "Yes, that's the smell of family." A calculating smile spread across Leo's lips as he thought to himself, "How interesting. By the way, I'll investigate this summons too." Just then, the Black Owl leader approached. "This situation is completely different from the information we have." He explained that this dungeon was supposed to possess destructive power, but in reality, it was nothing like that. Leo narrowed his eyes, scrutinizing. "Is it really okay for you to reveal that information to me?" The leader chuckled in response, treating it as an apology for his previous disrespect. Leo suddenly recalled his previous life, about the B-rank dungeons that had appeared simultaneously after the Black Forest disaster. He noticed the anomaly and wondered how the Black Owl Company knew about the disaster beforehand. "You're quite knowledgeable." "What's your name?" Leo asked, and the man introduced himself as Akutsu. Akutsu continued to curry favor, pointing towards a girl. "Like that redhead over there, she's super famous, someone our company invested in." The redhead was introduced as Rua, a B-rank dragon controller. Rua smiled brightly and waved hello to everyone in a friendly manner. Akutsu proudly boasted, "We've invested in her," which only made Leo sneer inwardly. Leo secretly assessed, Black Dragon Controller, Rua, a future S-rank job holder. Could everyone here be a big shot? Akutsu immediately extended an invitation. "If you ever want to seek investment, just let me know." Leo politely replied, "I'll consider it," but inwardly thought that he wouldn't need it as long as he had Suzuko. From behind, a mysterious hand wearing a red beaded bracelet appeared, softly exclaiming, "Oh, Anai-gen, a strange man," friendly patted Amiki Leo's head and asked, "Are you a job holder too, kid?" He introduced himself as Anai-gen, a B-rank perceiver, and extended a bizarre invitation, to be a chair for the beauties in his team. Leo was speechless at the offer, while a mysterious hand with a red beaded bracelet quietly draped over his shoulder. Akutsu suddenly appeared, questioning Anai's actions, but the man casually replied that he was recruiting talent. Leo shivered, recalling this person's reputation, fallen messenger, but at that moment, only one thought was in his head. Is he just a weirdo? Anai continued to entice him with strange questions about being stepped on by someone named Rua. Just then, Rua appeared, interrupting the captain. "Honestly, you're so embarrassing." Scolded, Anai-gen snapped, "Who do you think I am?" Rua could only sigh in exasperation at her captain's absurdity. She turned, threatening in a low voice, "Captain, if you say one more strange thing, I'll kill you." Contrary to expectations, Anai seemed utterly delighted by the threat, making Leo realize in horror that this guy had mental issues. Rua had no choice but to take down the eccentric captain, then turned to apologize to Akutsu for the trouble. She grabbed Anai by the collar, pressing him for the reason he was interested in a kid like Leo. Anai-gen became serious again, asserting, "I sense extraordinary potential from him." His words were not wrong, for behind Leo's appearance lurked Suzuko's demonic spirit. Nevertheless, Rua remained skeptical, thinking her captain was joking. Meanwhile, Akutsu discreetly warned a female colleague to keep her distance from Amiki Leo. Suddenly, Suzuko's spirit body flashed with recognition, and she exclaimed, "Found it, Tilda." Leo flinched, hastily asking himself, "She found the scent? Could it be on that weirdo Anai-gen?" He quickly dismissed that thought, his mind in turmoil as he wondered, then who could it be? Amidst the controlled crowd, Leo vaguely recognized a familiar back. He was stunned to realize it was Hayashi Miki, who was off guard. Leo quickly pulled up his hood, his mind in a whirl. "She's in this city. I need to avoid being recognized." Meanwhile, Suzuko's spirit body beside him was waving excitedly in an unusual manner. In another corner, a mysterious smile subtly curled on the lips of an unfamiliar woman. It was Doll, a magnificent lady standing amidst the soulless puppets she herself had created. Suzuko suddenly exclaimed, tugging at his sleeve, "Look, Daddy," making Leo jump. "Huh? What is it?" He looked in the direction she pointed but only saw a normal crowd, confusedly wondering. There's nothing? However, Doll had locked onto her target, her glowing purple eyes whispering, "Found it." Ignoring the confusion, Leo decided to trust Suzuko. "Let's go," and received a cheerful reply. Yes. A moment later, Leo reunited with Akutsu, asking directly, "What kind of dungeon is about to descend?" Just then, screens across the city simultaneously broadcast an announcement from Mayor Fujinami about a C-rank dungeon. The mayor called upon job holders to prevent the dungeon from expanding, promising generous rewards. Akutsu couldn't help but be surprised by the dungeon's rank. While the mayor reassured them that it was an exploration type, allowing for retreat, Leo merely smirked, confidently thinking that a free-to-explore C-rank dungeon was child's play. Amidst the crowd, Anigen and Rua were also listening to the mayor's call. Mayor Fujinami's voice echoed throughout the city, rallying brave job holders. The mayor's glasses glinted as he resoundingly posed his final question. "How will you respond?" Immediately after, at the dungeon entrance, a fairy tale castle appeared, causing a player to exclaim, "Akutsu-san, it looks so strange." Akutsu immediately reined in his team, ordering with a serious expression, "Everyone stay alert, don't miss any movement." As soon as he entered the dungeon, Amaiki Leo used his spirit vision to scout, finding the area seemed safe. However, he couldn't help but worry, as Suzuko's spirit form behind him was acting unusually excited. Suddenly, a fire bullet tore through the night, heading straight for them. A Black Owl member couldn't react in time, taking the full force of the attack and collapsing with a scream. Leader Akutsu turned back in shock. "We're under attack?" He immediately ordered the entire team into combat positions, simultaneously activating a defensive magic circle. Another fire bullet flew towards them, but was blocked by an invisible force. Even so, the pressure from the explosion still shattered Akutsu's sunglasses. His magic shield also crumbled, sending him flying backward. Sitting on the ground, Akutsu looked up and thanked his rescuer. "Damn it, thanks Himajin." Leo warned coldly. "Be careful. It's a D-rank monster. Ordinary tricks won't work." As soon as he finished speaking, a dark figure rushed out from the dense forest, roaring, "It's coming!" From the darkness, the enemy's gun barrel flashed, accompanied by a bloodthirsty voice. "Prey found." The attacker revealed himself, a D-rank returning hunter, exuding deadly killing intent. Leo frowned, muttering, "A returning hunter? D. rank. Just as I thought. This is troublesome." The hunter smirked, his crimson eyes gleaming with delight. "Lively prey is what I crave most." "The hunt begins now," he roared, leaping into the air with 2 pistols in hand. A massive energy web suddenly unfurled, binding the entire group of players in place. Leo braced himself to resist, determined to fight. "Damn it, I can't rely on Suzuko, I have to do it myself." Just then, Suzuko's spirit form suddenly became transparent, asking gently, "Dad, can I eat them?" Suzuko's spirit form created an energy vortex, blocking the enemy's barrage of bullets. Amidst the battle, she merely giggled as if it were child's play. The returning hunter was stunned. What? All the bullets were deflected back, flying straight towards their owner. Gah! He couldn't react in time, taking the full force of the deadly counterattack. A piercing scream echoed, ending the monster's hunt. The Black Owl group erupted in joy, Akutsu shouting, "Himajin, you reflected his attack." Amidst the cheers, Amaike Leo quietly observed the situation. He was a little bewildered by the excitement of his new teammate. Leo gave a wry smile as Suzuko's spirit devoured the remains of the enemy. "Well, so be it." Akutsu broke out in a cold sweat. "Not just items. He made the monster disappear completely?" The leader turned to ask Leo for his opinion on the group's next plan. Leo pondered. Suzuko's condition is unstable. Continuing to explore is too risky. He decided, "For now, let's gather with other teams to find someone who knows the way." Akutsu happily agreed, secretly telling himself to take good care of Himajin. The leader had his own agenda. He had to seize this opportunity to build a relationship with him. Meanwhile, an order was passed down to Akutsu. "Make sure to keep a close eye on him." Elsewhere, Anigen smirked sinisterly. "He knows my secret," his subordinate suggested. "So, should I plan to kill him?" And in a secret office, a powerful figure ordered, "Your mission is to find out who is backing him." A mysterious, powerful figure issued a chilling warning. "If you are useless to me, you will be eliminated." At the same time, a dungeon rift was suddenly activated right in the heart of the city. The female assistant frantically reported new developments at the rift to Mayor Fujinami. She announced, "Currently, 6 teams of 10 people are attempting to clear it. There have been a few casualties, but no team has been wiped out yet. The situation is still under control." Suddenly, Hayashi Miki rushed over, calling the mayor's name to his astonishment. The young girl asserted, "Please let me enter the dungeon." Mayor Fujinami refused, asking her to stay and questioning her about the real reason. Mickey was flustered, secretly thinking of a Mikey Leo inside but unable to say it out loud. She then made an excuse about the Black Forest incident, warning of an outsider who might be impersonating a player. Mickey continued to argue that the boss might transform and the dungeon might appear earlier than expected. Finally, the mayor was convinced and agreed to prepare a team for her. Meanwhile, in another forest, Anaijen urged, "Rua, have you found anything yet?" It turned out the leader was acting as Rua's chair, complaining that his back was about to break. Rua replied coldly, "Didn't the leader himself request this position?" "Be quiet." The young girl closed her eyes, activating her detection ability. "Now then, where is he?" Waves of psychic energy spread throughout the space, sweeping through the forest. Her skill detected a group of enemies ambushing in the shadows. Rua opened her glowing eyes wide, realizing it was a psychic attack, and roared, "You maggots!" Immediately, the ambushers were struck by a powerful surge of energy, screaming in pain. A fierce psychic energy explosion swept through the forest. The ambusher was thrown back, dazed, wondering, what the hell just happened? After the attack, Rua staggered, exhausted, sitting on Anaijen's back, panting and asking for a moment's rest. She mumbled, feeling she had used too much energy and that something was off about this place. Rua's emotions welled up as she whispered, "I want to see my sister soon." Memories flooded back with the image of a small Suzuko happily giving her a handmade stuffed rabbit. But then, her imagination was invaded by the sight of a Mikey Leo possessing Suzuko. That man's face in her mind turned sinister, sneering, "I found them first, so they're mine." Rua gritted her teeth, her anger flaring uncontrollably. "How annoying!" she roared, drawing her sword from its sheath. Empowered by her rage, Rua stood up, declaring, "All right, let's go. I've got enough power now." Anaijen could only give a wry smile at her sudden change. "That's great, but who's the real leader here?" Suddenly, a colossal pillar of purple energy tore through the night sky, descending upon the forest. From the epicenter of the explosion, lustrous golden locks began to materialize. A girl in a magnificent dress, doll, gently descended to the ground. "I'm back," she smiled enchantingly, and the price was quite high. She waved her hand, pouting, "Oh dear, my clothes are all dirty," then glanced at the battlefield, sarcastically, "And my new friends. Perhaps they've all been wiped out?" With a deadly smile, Doll reached forward, her voice sweet. "Come now." "Everyone," she called, surrounded by the strewn bodies of the unfortunate. An eerie voice echoed amidst the purple smoke. "You're still not dead?" Doll extended her hand, and the corpses around her began to twitch, standing up. "Wake up, let's go find our friends." Suddenly, she paused, her eyes flashing with extreme surprise. Looking into the distance, where an explosion had just erupted, Doll smirked. "Well, what a coincidence." Meanwhile, at the explosion site, a group of players was fleeing in disarray, the masked man yelling, "Damn it, they're too strong." From within the mist, the shadows of predators gradually emerged, a gleeful voice echoing, "Come now, it's time for an exciting hunt." The hunter captain appeared, dark tentacles writhing behind him. "My little lambs, who's next?" He stomped his foot, the ground shaking slightly as he gathered momentum. With incredible speed, the hunter lunged in front of a player. "It'll be you!" His blazing red eyes flashed with a deadly light just before striking. An explosion rang out, the hunter laughing maniacally amidst a shower of blood and gore. "Ha-ha, torn to shreds." From the shadows, a ninja accomplice appeared, muttering, "So, who's my next prey?" The two remaining players froze, despair evident on their faces. "We're screwed." In another corner, Himajin-san gritted his teeth, sweat pouring down, but still trying to reassure himself. "Calm down. Compared to Suzuko's overwhelming presence, this is nothing." He glanced at the sleeping spirit on his shoulder, whispering, "By the way, please wake up soon, Suzuko." The hunter turned back, his tone full of mockery. "Oh, can't wait any longer? You truly are unlucky." Suddenly, a wall of earth and rock erupted, throwing the hunter back, making his glasses-wearing comrade shout, "What's happening?" The hunter stood up amidst the grotesque fetal specters. "These brats have run out of patience. Now you'll be their dinner." A colossal fetal monster emerged from the ground, extending its deformed arms towards the group of players. His comrade panicked. "Himajin-san, what should we do?" But Himajin-san calmly ordered, "That one doesn't look very smart. Keep targeting the hunter." The hunter in the top hat commanded his abominable creation, "Eat your fill." With a final command, "Now, go." The eyes of the conjoined fetal specter glowed with deadly red. The monster opened its grotesque mouth wide, creating a terrifying vortex to swallow everything. Pulled by the suction, his comrade screamed in panic while Himajin-san calmly ordered another, "Akutsu, aim for its mouth." The glasses-wearing man realized in horror, spirit power. It's unusable. Cornered, Himajin-san gritted his teeth and decided, damn it, I'll use my trump card. Green energy erupted as he shouted, "Bow, form transformation, take this." A brilliant arrow of light shot forth, tearing through the night air. The small monster was hit, letting out a final shriek before vanishing. The aftershock of the explosion created immense wind pressure, forcing Himajin-san to brace himself. In the midst of danger, a delicate hand unexpectedly emerged from the purple smoke, gently touching him. Doll lifted Himajin-san, smiling alluringly. "Greetings, Great One. We meet again." Completely bewildered by what was happening, he could only stare blankly and wonder. Huh, who is this? From a distance, the hunter roared furiously. "How dare you do that to my child?" Himajin-san clicked his tongue, realizing the enemies were still there. Ch, they're still alive. The hunters charged, their captain yelling, "Obstructionist, you're dead." Doll turned, gently asking the person in her arms, "Great One, should I eliminate those eyesores?" Her eyes gleamed with fanaticism. "If you command it, I will do anything." Himajin-san broke out in a cold sweat, his mind reeling. What's with this girl? Great One? Does she mean Suzuko? But then, a cunning smile appeared on his lips. "If I can use her, we can defeat these hunters." Himajin-san smiled calculatingly. "Then, could you deal with them for me?" The mysterious girl replied, her purple eyes flashing. "I am Doll, a member of the Manifestation Association." With just a snap of her fingers, dark power was unleashed. Eerie purple energy began to envelop the bodies of the fallen players. From across the battlefield, the corpses began to stir, their empty eyes glowing with purple light. The dead soldier pulled the sword from his own chest, rising gruesomely. He declared loudly, "Lieutenant Sugai here, my friend, how may we help you?" Doll smirked eerily at the address of friends. At her command, the army of the undead turned to face their former enemies. The hunters were stunned. Their captain roared, "Fight back!" The resurrected army, who were just victims, now charged forward with the ferocity of hunters. A hunter, unable to react in time, fell under the blade of the one he had just killed. At the same time, in Getsuron City, an ominous dark aura was spreading. In his office, Mayor Fujinami was worried about the situation, placing his faint hope in Hayashi Miki. "Mr. Mayor, urgent news." His assistant rushed in, her face drained of color. She reported frantically, "The dead players. They've all been resurrected at once." Mayor Fujinami was speechless, unable to believe his ears. What? Back on the battlefield, Lieutenant Sugai gripped the hunter tightly, growling, "We are all friends." The puppet's purple eyes glowed with frenzy and absolute loyalty. Surrounded, the hunter captain roared in fury, black tentacles sprouting from his back. Amidst the encirclement of the undead army, Doll smiled in welcome. "Oh, new friends, welcome." Himajin-san wondered in confusion. "These guys, are they still alive?" "They're alive. After all, they are friends," Doll confirmed, making the young man shiver as he thought. "She's even more dangerous than Suzuko," Akutsu exclaimed. "Just leave it to Himajin-san. I can't believe you can control even the dead." "What are you talking about?" Himajin-san tried to explain. "I didn't." He was shocked to realize a terrible truth. Could it be? Akutsu and the others can't see this girl? "My Great One," Doll asked gently, "how else may I assist you?" Himajin-san immediately questioned, "Why am I the only one who can see you? What have you done to my people?" "I haven't done anything," she replied cryptically. "Do you want everyone to see? Then I'll turn them all into friends, shall I?" "No thanks." He frantically waved his hand in refusal. He muttered to himself, then turned and asked directly, "Doll-san, is there anything you want?" "What I want?" She smiled mysteriously. "I already have it." Doll's hand unexpectedly rested on his chest. "Your friendship," she whispered, her red eyes flashing with possessiveness. "That's the most important thing, don't you know?" The young man forced a smile and replied, I understand." But in his mind, he thought bitterly. In other words, am I a puppet? He secretly decided. I'll just have to let Suzuko deal with her. When the spirit on his shoulder suddenly let out a big yawn. Zoful, Suzuko woke up, wrapping her arms around him, startling him. "Ah, Suzuko, you're awake." Immediately, Suzuko's eyes widened, gleaming with sharpness and extreme vigilance. Suddenly, a voice rang out as Doll waved to Himajin-san, leaving him stunned. Suzuko giggled. "Look, Dad." She's waving again, while Himajin-san wondered in confusion. "Again? Do you know her?" He suddenly realized. So this is the one who waved to us in the square? So again, meant this. While Akutsu asked for instructions on entering the fortress, Himajin-san remained deep in thought. Why can I see her now? He pondered. The fortress. Suzuko's condition is still unstable. I'm not worried about myself, but those guys from the Black Owl Company could be wiped out, he thought, imagining the entire group being annihilated. He continued to analyze. According to rumors, there are 4 very strong knights in the fairy tale castle, even stronger than the hunters outside. Finally, he made a bold decision. In that case, I'll use this woman to clear the castle. With a friendly smile, he turned to Doll. Hey friend, could you lead us to the castle? Doll replied with a strangely radiant smile. Gladly. Everyone will lend a hand too, Tilda, she said, leading a formidable army of the undead. Himajin-san shouted, All right, Tilda, let's go, leading the entire group towards the towering castle ahead. Under the moonlight, the fairy tale castle appeared, both magnificent and eerie. Inside, the heavy doors of the great hall slowly creaked open, revealing a mysterious light. A hand with sharp claws reached for glittering piles of gold coins. The entire room was bathed in the metallic gleam of countless treasures. The true scene was revealed. This was the fairy tale castle casino, where beast, human monsters were engrossed at the betting tables. A giant wolf slammed the table and roared, Hey, everyone, look, new faces. He grinned sinisterly, with Little Red Riding Hood beside him. Our beloved chickens have arrived. Inside the fairy tale castle casino, Little Red Riding Hood placed her hand on the scrying orb, beginning the game. Through the orb, images of Rua's group and Anai-gen appeared, and the werewolf announced, Target number 1, the blonde guy, has entered the castle. He continued to update the monster crowd on the situation. Team 2 has been wiped out, and Team 3 is missing. It must have been those hunters. The orb shifted scenes again, showing Hayashi Miki's 3-person team having just entered. But the werewolf's attention was fixed on another target, and today's main event, prey number 4. Let's bet on whether he'll make it here. He grinned, baring his fangs, and announced the prize. Whoever wins a round will gain ownership of that human team. The werewolf roared, stirring up the frenzied atmosphere. Come on, place your bets on your favorite prey. Meanwhile, the purple-haired young man confidently took his first steps inside the castle. He and his teammates were astonished by the vast hall, behind which was Suzuko in her giant spirit form. The purple-haired young man smirked. We got in easily. Now, our final destination is the casino. Suddenly, Suzuko spoke up. Daddy, I'm tired, so I'm going to shrink. Hearing this, the purple-haired young man asked in surprise as Suzuko began to shrink her spirit form. In just a blink, she had finished transforming and cheerfully exclaimed, All done too. How do you feel? He asked, while Suzuko danced and replied, I feel very light, Tilda. Suddenly, a teammate cried out in panic. Something's wrong. I can't feel any spiritual energy. Are we being restricted? The purple-haired young man also felt it, he whispered. It has indeed been weakened. But at least I'm still better off than the others. A red system notification panel appeared, confirming the situation. Warning. Area effect. Uninvited guests will receive a restriction. The purple-haired young man turned to their guide, asking probing, Are you all right, Doll-san? Doll turned back, gave a meaningful smile, and replied, What do you mean? The purple-haired young man smiled reassuringly, but a thought crossed his mind. She's not restricted, meaning she's a boss, or even more than that. Meanwhile, Akutsu startled, becoming alert. Hey, what was that sound? A piercing scream rang out. Watch out, over there, as Akutsu's entire team was thrown back by an invisible force. From within the cloud of dust, a large dark figure charged out at terrifying speed. It was a C+ ranked centaur knight, roaring as it detected the intruders. Akutsu and his teammates were frozen in shock at the monster's appearance. A knight? The centaur knight's crimson eyes flashed, coldly declaring, Commencing annihilation. A blinding lightning bolt struck down, and an agonized scream echoed as the first attack hit its mark. The purple-haired young man nimbly retreated, avoiding the aftershocks of the explosion. Little Suzuko's spirit anxiously asked, Daddy, should we run? But he asserted, Not yet. At the castle casino, an eagle monster roared as it watched through the orb. Just let the knight kill you. The surrounding monster crowd also shouted in savage excitement. I want to see those bugs floating in a sea of blood. Back in the Great Hall, Doll gracefully asked the purple-haired young man. Great one. Do you have any commands? The purple-haired young man looked up at her, smiling meaningfully. Will you help me, my dear friend? Doll grinned widely, her purple eyes flashing eerily amidst a surging dark aura. With pleasure, a werewolf gambler watching the match was suddenly stunned. That's? The entire casino erupted in chaos as they recognized the one who had just appeared on screen. Her Highness, Monster Queen Doll. Why is she with those bugs? From a hidden corner, Doll ordered her new puppets. Lend a hand, everyone. Immediately, the hunter army with glowing purple eyes simultaneously aimed their weapons forward, ready to fire. The centaur knight charged with a lightning-fast attack. However, its spear was blocked by a pink energy barrier. Doll chuckled delightedly. Quite sturdy. I like ones like that, she said, releasing a surge of dark magic. The centaur knight was stunned by its opponent's unimaginable power. Completely overwhelmed, the knight screamed in horror. "Goddess," Doll smiled eerily, beckoning. "Come here, let's be good friends." "Why are you here, your highness?" the knight painfully questioned, but Doll casually replied. "Oh dear, you found me out?" Immediately, the centaur knight was thrown backward with a piercing scream. Doll seemed slightly surprised by the outcome. Well, she thought smugly. Did I accidentally break him? The purple-haired young man stepped forward with Suzuko's spirit, cheerfully saying, "Well, thank you very much." He smiled brightly, praising. "What a splendid performance. That monster must have been surprised by your enthusiasm, huh?" Meanwhile, at a secret casino, the werewolf and the monster crowd were watching everything through a divination orb. The werewolf angrily slammed the table. "Damn knight. Useless. Incompetent." A lion monster roared. "What the hell is going on?" The lion grabbed the werewolf by the collar, growling. "Our Lady is helping those outsiders? Hey wolf, explain yourself now." The werewolf hastily reassured. "Calm down. The ladies are all a bit strange. Especially, Lady Doll's hobby is turning humans into toys. She's probably helping them for that reason." The lion let go, broke out in a cold sweat, and muttered, "Indeed, that might be it. She's as terrifying as ever." At the monster casino, the werewolf excitedly declared, "Look, Lady Doll is about to turn them into toys." Meanwhile, Himajin-san smugly thought to himself that if he could just exploit this girl, the dungeon would be cleared in an instant. He burst out laughing as the dark energy from Doll exploded, sweeping away his shadow subordinates. But Doll only smiled hauntingly. So nostalgic. The Great One's smile. "I'm so happy," she screamed in extreme excitement. "Show me more," releasing an even more terrifying surge of power. Dark energy engulfed everything, completely overwhelming those who dared to stand in its way. Himajin-san's confidence vanished, and he panicked. What? Why is she suddenly acting so strange? At the same time, the monsters in the casino roared in encouragement. "Kill him! Finish him off!" Doll hovered in the air, her invisible pressure rendering Himajin-san immobile. Dark energy enveloped the young man, obscuring one of his eyes. Witnessing the scene, Suzuko unexpectedly uttered a single word in surprise. "Father?" In a flash, Doll closed in, grabbing Himajin-san's dazed face. She lifted his face with both hands, whispering, "It's me." With glowing red eyes and a haunting smile, she asked, "Do you remember? Your number one friend?" The entire casino fell silent, and the wolfman could only stammer, "What?" A metal-faced monster grabbed the wolfman and roared, "You bastard! How dare you trick us?" Amidst the chaos, Little Red Riding Hood announced, "Hey, the target is disappearing." Back at the castle, Himajin-san's entire group began to vanish into thin air in a panic. Left alone, Doll gazed into the void, uttering in disappointment, "How cruel, the Great One." As Himajin-san's body gradually faded, Doll whispered with glowing red eyes, "It's all right, I'll make you remember." "Let father go!" Suzuko roared, lunging forward in desperation. But it was too late. Her fingers could only brush through empty space. "Suzuko, save me." Himajin-san pleaded in vain as Doll seized him, laughing maniacally. When the last silhouette vanished, Suzuko was stunned. "Father is gone." Immediately, a beam of light enveloped her, preparing for a forced teleportation. At an unfamiliar location, the Light Knights began to materialize. The army in silver armor, C+ rank, was ready for the sweep. Meanwhile, at the casino, the Wolfman and his companions watched gleefully through the crystal ball. Perfect timing. The knights have arrived. Akutsu's and Suzuko's group suddenly appeared before the enemy, one member panicking. "They're coming! Himajin-san is gone!" Akutsu growled, trying to calm his panicked teammates. "Don't panic. Prepare to block them." In another corner, Rua and her group were also caught in a vortex of red energy. Whoa. What is it this time? A cold system notification appeared. Anomaly detected in the dungeon. Upgrading. Amidst the chaos, Suzuko growled, sniffing a familiar scent in the air. "Suzuko, we'll find father," she shrieked, her body transforming into a furious monster. The Light Knights immediately charged into attack, but they faced Suzuko's wrath. She crushed a soldier and roared. Extremely annoying. Witnessing the scene, Akutsu pushed up his glasses, astonished. Where did it come from? And this feeling is somewhat familiar. He turned back, shouting loudly at his scattered teammates. "Hey, is everyone injured? If you're okay, let's go." The Wolfman stared blankly at the crystal ball. "That's the final boss, the Queen of Decay." He roared in panic as the image suddenly vanished. "No way. That person who disappeared." Immediately after, Himajin-san appeared, terrifying the Wolfman. He brought her along, a surge of purple energy enveloped them, and in the blink of an eye, the scene changed. The hand of a mysterious woman tightly grasped Himajin-san's panicked hand. "I will help you. Remember," the blonde woman said as she pulled him along, despite his fearful question. "Where are we going?" With a meaningful smile, she declared, "To remember your past." Himajin-san broke into a cold sweat, his inner thoughts screaming, "My past? Is she mistaking me for someone else?" The woman whispered into his ear, "You appeared with his child, and even surpassed the great monster god." Her eyes glowed red as she embraced him from behind. "Your smile made me remember. You are definitely him." While Himajin-san feared his false identity would be exposed, she led him on. "Come, look at this." She pointed to a doll on a throne and asked, "Does it look familiar?" "The first friend you created," she revealed. "That is my true body." Himajin-san was stunned when she demanded, "You should know the answer, but if I don't speak, I'm dead for sure," he thought desperately, while the woman waited in a hall full of mannequins. With glowing red eyes, she pressed him. "My true name. There's no way you'd forget, right? We're best friends, after all," she said, her tone both sweet and murderous. His life hanging by a thread, Himajin-san gritted his teeth, sweat pouring down him. Finally, he made a risky decision. "I can't say." Himajin-san faced the Queen of Decay, confessing, "I can't say." Immediately, a brilliant purple killing intent erupted, and the Queen's eyes turned bloodshot. "Why not?" Invisible pressure tightened around the young man, pushing him against the wall. "Why can't you say? It's just that you don't know, isn't it?" she roared, while he coldly retorted, "Are you going to kill me?" Clutching the hand at his throat, he smirked. "Go ahead. That way, I won't have to remember the past." Taken aback, the Queen paused. "What do you mean?" Seizing the opportunity, he countered, "Let me ask you a question. How much do you remember about me?" The Queen's slender fingers still gripped his collar, the tension palpable. She hesitated. "You have many children. I am one of your creations." He pressed. "Anything else? Is that all?" "I can't remember." Suzuko frantically clutched her head. "How can this be? No way. Did I forget? Just as I thought." "He's already gotten to you too," Leo said with feigned sympathy. "That damned monster god has interfered with your memories." Suzuko collapsed, muttering in despair. "The monster god erased my memories? Is it his fault?" Leo thought to himself, "This woman has already lost her memories. I just need to exploit that. Blame everything on the monster god, and all suspicion will vanish." He placed his hand on her head, a bitter thought in his mind. This truly kills two birds with one stone. "We're just using each other. Don't blame me. Don't despair," he gently comforted. "There are many things I can't remember either. After all, it's all that monster god's fault." Suzuko looked up, her eyes less hostile, and hesitated. "You too." Suddenly, the entire hall shook violently, and bricks and stones began to fall from the ceiling. An earth-shattering explosion rang out, blowing away a massive section of the castle wall. Both Himajin-san and doll turned back in shock, not understanding what was happening. Through the dust and smoke, a gigantic monster figure appeared, roaring. "I found you!" Himajin-san was stunned. Suzuko?" The system issued a red alert. The boss of the fairy tale kingdom, Doll, had entered a berserk state, facing the powerful shadow entity. Himajin-san was stunned to realize this was the dungeon boss. "No other choice but to fight," he growled, his eyes changing as his ability activated. A notification appeared, confirming that the title Speed Player had been activated. Immediately, Doll unleashed a fierce mental attack towards the young man. Amidst the enchanting energy, her hand reached out with a deadly invitation. "Come, shall we go together?" Doll's ability was so terrifying it could cruelly punish a victim's mind to the point of madness. Just then, Suzuko let out an earth-shattering roar. "Father!" Himajin-san was thrown back by a surge of red energy towards Suzuko, who had appeared just in time to block the attack. "Suzuko, why are you stopping me?" Doll, in her white-haired masked form, questioned. "It's me, White. Have you forgotten?" "Liar!" Suzuko roared, holding up a small doll. "My White is right here," the monster queen smirked. "You only acknowledge my true body? What a spoiled child." She put on a grotesque pair of glasses, grabbed her weapon, and shrieked, "Come on, let's play." "Father," Suzuko softly called as Himajin-san realized his opponent had used a mask to enhance her power. The purple-haired young man bitterly realized he had made a fatal mistake, inadvertently leading one of the three supreme bosses directly to her lair. "I've brought many of Father's friends here," Suzuko suddenly announced, dropping a bombshell. Himajin-san hadn't even fully grasped what was happening. Suzuko, that is. The castle wall exploded, and Akutsu and the Black Owl group burst in. "Himajin-san, are you all right?" Witnessing the sudden appearance of uninvited guests, Doll merely smiled with delight. Doll unleashed a surge of dark energy, swinging her weapon towards her opponent. Himajin-san was caught in her fierce whirlwind of attacks. "What now?" he roared, trying to fend off the invisible slashes. With the strange mask, Himajin-san focused all his strength into a counterattack. His sword clashed fiercely with Doll's weapon in a moment of struggle. "Well, have you remembered anything?" Doll provoked. "Tell me." Suddenly, a gigantic hand belonging to Suzuko appeared, smashing Doll's attack and startling Himajin-san. "Huh? She's gone?" Suzuko was surprised not to see her opponent. "No, she's still there," Himajin-san pointed up, where Doll was hovering in the air. The purple-haired young man confidently shouted, "Give up, Doll. You don't stand a chance." Doll merely smiled. "I don't want to leave you. So your other friends will just have to suffer." "Other friends," Himajin-san muttered, realizing the danger was aimed at the Black Owl group. "What the hell?" Akutsu yelled as he saw his red-haired teammate writhing in pain. The red-haired man's hand began to deform under the influence of dark energy. The Black Owl members were gradually transforming into copies of Doll herself. All of them are turning into her? Himajin-san was horrified. What an insane ability. Giving her opponent no time to recover, Doll shot forward at terrifying speed. "Ha ha ha, let's continue the fun," she cackled as she flew past. Suddenly, Suzuko clutched her head and roared, a fierce red light flashing from her eyes. "It hurts." Hayashi Miki and her teammates stood before a haunted castle, the sky above cracked, signaling an unusual dungeon. "More and more cracks are appearing," Hayashi Miki muttered. Realizing the situation was worsening, she turned back, urging her teammates. "We must clear this dungeon quickly, before it's too late." With a worried expression, she thought to herself, "It seems the dungeon's descent is accelerating. This is a big problem." At the same time, in a forest, a blue spatial rift began to form. In the heart of Getsuren City, another massive rift tore through reality. An observer remarked, "Another rift? There's something strange about this one." From within the rift, a deadly surge of energy erupted, killing innocent citizens in the blink of an eye. A double-barreled shotgun slowly emerged from the chaotic vortex. Immediately after, a mysterious cowboy hunter stepped out, his crimson eyes sweeping across the city as he whispered, "Fresh prey." He smirked, enjoying the chaotic scene. Here's the kid's favorite treat. On the street below, the surviving citizens screamed in terror as they recognized his presence. "It's a monster! Run!" a desperate cry echoed, but the hunter merely sneered. "Come on, it's hunting time." Terrifying explosions rocked the entire city, sowing destruction. Meanwhile, an hour earlier at the Fairy Tale Kingdom casino, the werewolf growled, "Have you found the decaying queen yet?" Suddenly, a massive explosion shattered the casino doors. A bear monster roared at the figure emerging from the smoke. "Who the hell are you? This is a casino, you know." Rua and her group stepped out. She cheerfully waved. "Hello, good evening, Tilda." Her gaze swept over the beastkin monsters. She casually asked, "Are there no other players here?" "I see. We're the first ones here, huh?" But inside, Rua was seething about something else, gritting her teeth as she thought of Amike Leo. That kid. Where the hell is he? The werewolf roared in anger at the girl's attitude. "What is this? A puny human dares to be arrogant. How dare you trespass into a monster's dwelling?" Rua sneered at the werewolf's insult. "A puny human. Huh. Let me show you how amazing a human can be." Rua's blade flashed with a brilliant red streak, slashing forward. She spun, unleashing a storm of sword techniques that swept through the surrounding monsters. Another slash was easily parried by her, her eyes sharp and cold. Her attack tore through a gambler, leaving the werewolf frozen. Cold sweat poured out. The leader monster's crimson eyes filled with horror. "Ah, you are a VIP. My sincerest apologies." The werewolf bowed deeply. "Please, this way." Rua snorted coldly, then was led to the most prominent seat. She casually propped her feet on the table, clearly showing who was in charge here. The werewolf timidly asked her purpose. Rua replied, "I came to clear the dungeon, but now I think I'll give up." She pointed at the azure orb. "By the way, what's that?" The werewolf explained. "An entertainment device for observing humans in the dungeon." A young man suddenly appeared behind her, exclaiming in surprise, "Oh, wow." Rua flinched, a little flustered by this sudden appearance. She turned to the werewolf, radiating killing intent. "Can you find someone?" An arrogant 16 or 17-year-old kid with purple hair. "Hey, Red Hood, do your job," the werewolf yelled, making Rua raise an eyebrow in doubt. The strange young man cheerfully patted the little Red Riding Hood operating the orb, despite her complaining, "Please don't touch my head." The prophetic orb glowed brightly, beginning the search process. Amike Leo's face appeared, making the other young man realize, "That's the kid I tried to invite to the team. Where is he? Tell me now," Rua roared, dark red energy erupting as she declared, "I'm going to invite him to my team." In the casino, the werewolf flinched. What was that sound? While Rua whispered, He is. At the same time, a distant castle was enveloped by surging dark red energy. Rua was stunned, her amber eyes flashing. This spiritual power, it's so familiar. Exactly like when I entered the dungeon with him. Her orange-haired teammate called out in confusion. Rua? Where are you going? I need to confirm something, she replied without turning her head. I'll be right back. Leaving everything behind, Rua sped towards the haunted castle. She raised her hand, gathering a pitch-black energy orb. Shadow Dragon. A terrifying explosion tore through the sturdy castle wall. Inside, Aniclimax was thrown back, letting out a cry of pain. From the shadows below, countless ghostly arms reached out, grabbing the young man. More of them. He despaired as abnormal red eyes began to sprout on his cheeks. A swarm of long-haired female monsters materialized, giggling. My friend, come here. Aniclimax gritted his teeth. The spiritual corruption is rising again. At this rate. Suddenly, a gigantic figure of Suzuko appeared, roaring daddy, then swept through the monsters. Seizing the opportunity, Aniclimax activated his skill, his eyes glowing brightly. True sight. Flash attack, he growled, radiating intense killing intent. Unexpectedly, a blonde girl rushed forward. Friends? Let me help. But it was a clone attack. Aniclimax smirked. Illusions, huh? I see right through them. He gracefully dodged every attack like a ghost. Every strike, every movement, he confidently declared. Clear as day. A mysterious woman wearing a masquerade mask appears, her entire body enveloped in an eerie red glow. In response, Aniclimax activates his demonization state, gliding like a phantom through the enemy's barrage of bullets. The system panel confirms his skill. Synchronization, demonization, duration, 20 minutes. Leo realizes in astonishment. When I take down a clone, it just reappears? If that's the case, I'll deal with them all at once, he decides, charging straight into the encirclement. The blonde woman senses the surge of power, wondering, this spiritual energy, could it be Suzuko's? A mysterious smile forms on her lips as she speculates. You can use the power of others? As she unleashes a surge of dark energy, an ally exclaims. Amazing, that's my friend. Countless deadly purple energy beams are fired, tearing through the surrounding space. I'll dodge her spiritual energy beams and... Leo calculates as his body gracefully evades. Counterattack. He concentrates a sphere of green energy in his palm. Here we go. Leo roars, transforming his weapon into a brilliant bow of light. Oh, quite agile, aren't we? The blonde woman's clones chuckle arrogantly. He draws the bowstring taut, releasing a spiraling energy arrow towards them. The arrow creates a massive energy vortex, devouring everything in its path. Her clones are swept into the inescapable destructive vortex. A shocking explosion engulfs the battlefield, wiping out the troublesome illusions. All right, now, Leo says, his eyes intensely focused on the next target. Suddenly, he hears Suzuko's pained scream and an idea strikes him. I'll ask Suzuko to help me find her true body. His eyes gleam as a bold and perfect plan form. The woman in the purple dress rushes forward, her voice full of provocation. Hey, where do you think you're going? Aniclimax realizes the dire situation. My spiritual energy is useless. My weapon is on cooldown. Damn it, I have to use my trump card. Without hesitation, he roars the command. Synchronize. A sinister smile and glowing red eyes suddenly appear on his shadow-shrouded face. Dark energy surges, enveloping Aniclimax as he begins his transformation. As soon as his new form takes shape, strands of energy burst from his hands, surprising the enemy. Seizing the opportunity, he firmly grabs her wrist, a newly absorbed skill. The blonde woman is stunned, unable to react to the sudden change. Activate spirit threads. He tightens his grip, the energy threads cutting into her flesh, making her scream in agony. He shows no mercy, slamming her to the floor amidst the roar of energy. But it was only a clone, his red eyes scanning the space, searching for the true target. Found her. Her true body, he whispers as he senses the true presence. Activating Spirit Leap, he vanishes in a hazy smoke, and then appears right in front of the true body, leaving her speechless. This is... my power? The woman's face pales, her initial confidence completely vanished. Aniclimax unleashes a decisive blow, a destructive surge of green energy charging straight at her. The impact creates a terrifying shockwave, blowing away everything around them. Amidst the thick dust and smoke, her figure is sent flying like a broken puppet. When everything settles, the woman lies there, covered in blood and injuries. She is thrown straight into the wall behind her, only managing a desperate cry. Aniclimax's hand tightens, choking the enemy's throat. Doll, his voice echoes from behind his dark mask. He growls, the pressure increasing. Would you kindly let me go now? In response to him, the blonde woman only bursts into hearty laughter. What's so funny? Leo frowns, thinking to himself that the skill's duration was almost up. Got you, Tilda, she smiles triumphantly, as a magical thread tightens around him. Just then, Suzuko, with countless arms, lunges out from the shadows. A horde of shadow monsters rises from the ground, encircling both of them amidst the woman's insane laughter. Leo is stunned, cold sweat pouring down him as he realizes he's fallen into a trap. The monsters charge simultaneously, forming a vortex of dark energy. A terrifying explosion engulfs everything. Amidst the dust and smoke, Leo slides across the ground, just managing to swing his weapon to block the attack. Suzuko, are you okay? He asks worriedly, but she only replies blankly, Daddy? Yes, but I'm hungry. Elsewhere, the orange-haired young man exclaims in surprise as he sees the scene through a crystal ball. Oh? It's him. Who's the woman next to him? That kid. Don't tell me he's charmed the queen too? The female werewolf grabs him, while the young man stammers, That's the boss monster? The orange-haired young man muses. I sensed his potential, but what exactly is his class? He's definitely overpowered. Suddenly, he holds his breath as he sees another surge of energy appear in the crystal ball. That's the one with her back to us is Rua? He frantically turns around, realizing she had been standing tall behind him all along. A dark aura of killing intent swirls around Rua, making her companion wonder, is she truly human? At the same time, Suzuko squints slightly, a familiar feeling rising within her. She looks so familiar. Is she someone Daddy knows? Amidst the battle, Leo clutched his head in pain, trying to reason. From Suzuko's reaction, could she be related to Suzuko's father? He looked up and was stunned to see Rua, transformed with demon horns and fiery red hair, staring intently at him. Rua roared, her golden eyes flashing with fury. You just called him father? Are you kidding me? She turned to the enemy, growling, Hey kid. What the hell did you do? Why did she turn into that? Facing them, the blonde woman merely smiled mysteriously. Your friend over there, she provoked Rua. What are you going to do to him? Don't interfere, White. He beat you to a pulp too. That doesn't matter, the blonde woman interrupted, dark energy beginning to surge around her. Because in the end, he belongs to me. She unleashed a destructive attack towards the two opponents. Rua furiously screamed, White, you idiot. She unleashed her full power, a massive energy vortex exploding with a system notification. Synchronization, Eye of Truth, Monster Devourer. The system confirmed. Monster Devourer activated. Witnessing the scene, Leo realized the situation was worsening. Suzuko, it's time to go. But Suzuko had grown colossal, cradling the tiny Leo in her hand and roaring possessively, Father is mine. Elsewhere, the observation team watching through the scrying orb was utterly terrified. Damn it, this is really bad. They're about to destroy the entire dungeon. As expected, the chaotic energy caused the entire castle to collapse, with continuous system error messages. The entire fairy tale kingdom was torn from its space, beginning its descent into the real world. An hour later in Getsuron City, an entire urban area was engulfed in flames after the horrific impact. Amidst the rubble, Leo awoke with a start. The descent. It still happened in the end. He stared at his hand in shock, whispering, I'm alive. Suzuko. Is she okay? A status panel appeared, showing that Suzuko had fallen into a coma, and his gather skill had just been unlocked. Amidst the rubble, Leo was stunned by the system's notification regarding his status. A sudden time-limited event was activated. Blood Hunt in Getsuron City. Leo realized this was a large-scale monster hunt, with an S-rank item as the reward for the winner. The system began introducing unique targets. First, the Phantom of Anxiety, a figure he immediately recognized. The second target was the doll, none other than the woman in the purple dress he had once faced. And the final target was a formidable foe he had never seen before, the Queen of Decay. Leo froze as he realized Suzuko had once again become the hunted prey. He suspected some force like a game master was pulling the strings behind everything. Suddenly, the clang of metal echoed, as armored feet landed on the ground. An army of knights with glowing red eyes appeared, weapons in hand, advancing towards him. I have to get Suzuko out of here, Leo resolved. He swiftly dodged a fatal sword strike hurtling towards him. Immediately, he counterattacked with a punch, charged with green psychic energy. That clanking sound is pissing me off. Get lost, he roared furiously. His powerful attack struck the knight directly in the chest. The enemy was sent flying, while the remaining one still stood firm. But the price was an uncomfortable sensation. Strange veins began to bulge on Leo's face. Mental corruption level. Did I use too much power? He wondered anxiously. A fierce headache struck, as if trying to tear his mind apart. More horrifyingly, Leo realized the knights were being empowered by that damned flower energy. You persistent leeches! Leo roared, green patterns spreading across his face as the pain hit. He gripped the strange sword tightly, channeling surging psychic energy into it, his entire body ablaze with power. Leo charged forward, his eyes burning with rage. A knight charged forward at terrifying speed, swinging its sword down. Immediately, two other knights simultaneously dove down from above, forming a pincer attack. Their coordinated attack created a small explosion upon impact with the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Leo spun and swung his sword, stopping one of the knights. His sharp blade sliced through the armor, fresh blood splattering. He took down one, but was immediately surrounded on all sides by the remaining knights. He landed, his hand bleeding after the skirmish, muttering, "My reflexes are still pretty good. First, I need to stop the bleeding." He focused green energy into his injured hand. The wound on his hand quickly closed, and he softly said, "Good. Huh? It seems there are more." He froze as a new, larger army of knights appeared. A sudden attack from above struck, forcing him to exclaim, "Phew, that was dangerous. Good thing I have a psychic barrier." After the attack dissipated, he stood up, cautiously asking, "Where did that attack come from?" His gaze turned to the top of the ruined building, where three mysterious dark figures were silently observing. One of the knights on the ground began to gather energy, identified by the system as Flash Knight C+. The knight's armored hand clenched, brilliant yellow lightning converging. A barrage of yellow energy arrows was fired from its arm. The knight poured all its strength into its sword, unleashing a destructive attack aimed directly at Leo. Leo was utterly terrified, grotesque secondary eyes sprouting on his face. A blinding explosion heralded the arrival of new enemies. A squad of knights in dark gray armor, bearing Red Cross emblems, charged in like a storm. They immediately opened fire, unleashing a barrage of yellow energy bullets towards Leo. The young man struggled to defend himself, patterns of corruption spreading across his arm. He cried out in pain as the force of the attack sent him flying. His entire body was thrown, slamming hard onto the shattered ground. Amidst the pain, he thought desperately, "I can't leave here without Suzuko. The mental corruption is getting worse and worse. The system is strange, giving no information. My rank has increased, but I only received a mysterious summoning skill." Wait a minute. An idea flashed in Leo's mind, but the enemy gave him no time. A knight closed in and slashed directly at his shoulder. Deadly red light gleamed from behind the cold iron mask. Two other knights joined forces, unleashing a destructive surge of energy. Surrounded and exhausted, Leo could only helplessly watch the yellow lightning bolts gathering in the enemy's hands. He realized in horror, "These bastards. They can fight in close combat too?" A knight poured all his strength into his sword, transforming it into a gigantic blade of lightning. "Damn it!" Leo yelled as the terrifying slash hurtled towards him. In that life-or-death moment, he raised his hand, intending to block the attack barehanded. His eyes flared with green light, and he roared in his mind, "I have to deal with it before it explodes." But then, a strange sensation washed over him, making him freeze. Wait? Leo realized in horror that his hand was turning black, wondering, "Is it because my spiritual power has been corrupted?" Facing an entire legion of knights, he realized this situation was more unusual than ever. "I've never seen mental corruption last this long." Realizing the corruption was even stronger than the system, Leo gritted his teeth and decided, "Then there's no other way. I have to use this power." Immediately, one of the black armored knights charged forward, swinging his sword to attack. Leo narrowly dodged the blow, roaring, "Take this!" His blazing golden sword clashed directly with the enemy. A terrifying energy explosion erupted, blowing away everything around them. Amidst the smoke, Leo's eyes glowed with an eerie green light, and a surge of dark energy billowed from his arm. He seized the opportunity, using his corrupted hand to firmly grasp the knight. His entire body enveloped in a deadly green aura, Leo began to channel the horrifying energy into his enemy. The Red Cross emblem glowed brightly on his hand, as if draining the knight's life force. He whispered as he watched the enemy writhe, "The corruption I absorbed from the monsters is now affecting these guys in reverse." But then, grotesque secondary eyes sprouted on his cheek, and a sense of dread crept into his mind. Now what's going to happen? Under the influence of the power, the knight's armor began to crack. Strange green figures crawled across the red emblem on his chest, corroding it from within. The knight was blasted away, his body shattering into fragments. The scene of destruction continued, as another enemy also exploded in silence. A blazing red slash flashed, putting an end to the brutal battle. Amidst the ruins, a system notification appeared, confirming Leo had leveled up. He looked at his hand, deeply etched with green patterns, and bitterly admitted, "High-density mental corruption can easily take down monsters." With grotesque eyes etched on his face, Leo muttered, "All right, next up is..." He spread his arms, provoking amidst the chaotic energy, "Come at me. I'm just a human, aren't you afraid?" Facing the challenge, the armored knights tightened their grip on their weapons, ready for battle. "If you won't come, then I'll bring the fight to you," Leo roared, charging straight into the enemy formation. A devastating punch shattered the sturdy helmet. The young man rampaged through the encirclement, each blow shaking the ground and sending enemies flying. A knight tried to defend, but his blade could only temporarily block the demonic sword. During the battle, Leo unexpectedly touched a strange energy source. A system error notification appeared, and he smirked. Oh, a system error? Well then, let's try it. Summoning skill, activate. His eyes blazed with determination to seize the opportunity. At the same time, elsewhere, the werewolf roared furiously at his subordinates. Kill him for me. My bet has been ruined. A powerful female werewolf monster appeared, declaring, Thanks to you, I've escaped the confines of this dungeon. She bared her fangs, revealing 6 blood-red eyes. As thanks, I'll send your head flying from your neck. Meanwhile, the werewolf's rage erupted, and he unleashed his fury upon his own subordinate. Back on the battlefield, a gigantic emerald summoning circle swallowed the remaining knights. Leo placed his hand on the magic circle. The system confirmed he had collected 2 samples. He absorbed energy from the fallen enemies, creating hovering soul orbs. Summoning successful, 3 new entities were created from the enemy's power. It's a success. Next. Leo looked at his achievement, 3 energy orbs hovering before him, but another error notification suddenly appeared, and he was confused. Confirm? Well, I'll just press it then. The system screamed error, as 3 summoned entities were sucked into a frantic energy vortex. With grotesque eyes sprouting on his face, a Mike Leo whispered in astonishment. Are they merging? A terrifying explosion threw Leo back, but he only laughed gleefully. Whoa, amazing. From the rooftop, a group of specters flinched at the sudden power. What the hell is that? Meanwhile, at a nearby battlefield, the female werewolf commander roared. Hey knights, get yourselves together now. Fearing a human brat, and you call yourselves knights, she scoffed. Immediately, an invisible surge of energy swept through, sending her entire knight squad flying. Stunned by the sight, the female werewolf commander stammered. What? A colossal crystal tail slammed into the ground, signaling the birth of a new entity. From within the energy storm, the silhouette of an armored knight gradually emerged. The new entity let out a sky-shattering roar, its entire body covered in ghostly eyes and dark energy. The system confirmed. Monster summon. Fusion, Knight B+. The Fusion Knight landed with a terrifying aftershock, dyeing the entire area in a deadly green. The female werewolf commander was horrified. I've never seen a knight like that. What did that brat do? Leo realized. Summoning skill, I can forcibly summon monsters by using spiritual power, and make them fuse into a stronger monster. He smirked triumphantly. Wielding the energy greatsword, he looked up at the rooftop and thought, what a wicked skill, but it suits my current appearance. Leo smirked. Found you, puppet master. Completely overwhelmed, the female werewolf commander trembled, wondering, this brat, is he really human? At the same time, players everywhere began receiving information about this shocking event. Mid-air, a player riding a giant centipede received an invitation from the system. On the ground, countless other players simultaneously received similar notification. A limited-time event called Blood Hunt in Getsuran City has been activated. Immediately, the entire city plunged into chaos as spatial rifts tore through the sky. The first players were teleported in, their bodies glowing brightly in the chaotic energy stream. One by one, they descended onto the impending bloody battlefield. The system echoed a chilling message. The magnificent culling festival shall now begin. Without warning, a destructive surge of energy struck directly from the sky. The ground shook from a terrifying explosion of light. At the epicenter, the A-rank berserker, Mike, proudly declared, "Looks strong, but the #1 spot will be mine." Standing atop the colossal monster, he growled a warning. "If you don't want to die, you'd best stay out of my way." The surrounding players were stunned, despairing as they realized a high-rank predator had entered the fray. Suddenly, Mike sensed something, narrowing his eyes at an approaching crowd. From within the dust cloud, a horde of cowboy-clad monsters with deadly red eyes emerged. One of them aimed a pistol, gathering energy, forward. The shot fired, forming a blinding orb of light that engulfed everything. As the light faded, a graceful figure emerged from the heart of the explosion. Even Mike had to kneel under the invisible pressure, muttering, "Tsk, another troublesome one." A woman with sharp eyes calmly looked down at the challenger. The A+ rank saintess, Mikappes, coldly declared, "First place? You? You don't stand a chance. Give up." Mike frowned at Mikappes' appearance. "Why you?" Immediately, a colossal monster rose behind the saintess, growling, "Annoying bug. Begone." A series of fierce light explosions shook the entire battlefield. "Oh, not bad," Mike admitted with a smirk, while Mikappes radiated a brilliant golden aura. Suddenly, a voice echoed from above. "My apologies. I just leveled up, so I'm still not used to this power. I am Iria, pleased to meet you." The S-rank Artificer Master, rank 15, had appeared. Meanwhile, Amike Leo, with surging green energy, confronted his enemy on the rooftop of the ruined building. Elsewhere, a silver-haired swordsman taunted, "What's wrong, puppies? Are you scared witless just by seeing me?" Returning to the battle, the female wolf monster couldn't endure the humiliation, charging straight down from above. "As if I'm scared. Without the Queen of Decay by your side, you're nothing. Is that so?" Leo smirked, grotesque secondary eyes appearing. "Then why don't you come and try?" Provoked, the female wolf monster let out an earth-shattering roar and charged to attack. Countless green energy slashes tore through the air, embedding themselves directly into her body. Under Leo's control, the energy storm relentlessly tormented the enemy. "Haha. In the end, you're just human. That last attack didn't even scratch me," she shrieked, similar eyes also sprouting on her face. "Oh? Your defense is quite good, isn't it?" Leo calmly remarked, as a surge of dark energy began to gather in his hand. "Huh? What is this? My hand? You brat? What have you done?" The female wolf monster shrieked in horror. "Mental corruption." Leo smiled maliciously. "It's driven some of your knights insane. I wonder how many minutes you'll last." "Look, now it's your face," Leo whispered as grotesque green eyes sprouted, making the female wolf monster scream in agony. "Stop, please stop. I was wrong. Please spare me," the arrogant ruler now begged, bowing her head. And Leo merely replied coldly, "See, was that so hard?" Amike Leo realized the system wanted Suzuko and these people dead, which is why it pitted players against them. He grabbed the female wolf monster's snout, growling, "Listen up, pup. The system is coming to kill you. If you don't want to die, then right now, let's make some new rules." At the same time, in another corner of the city, a fierce gunfight was taking place. The cowboy hunter was stunned. Humans? Why are there knights accompanying a human? In response to that question, Amike Leo ordered his fused knights. "Deal with them. Rule 1. I will eliminate anyone who disobeys." With a triumphant smile, he declared, "Kill all these unruly bastards and seize an area." At the same time, the promotion notification appeared. The female wolf monster was now completely submissive. "You truly are my master. I obey your command." While Leo left the cleanup to the knights, standing beside Suzuko, he ordered his new subordinates. "Search for the Queen of Decay. She is a valuable asset." Little Red Riding Hood timidly offered a scrying orb. "You can use this to see something." Amike Leo took the rare item, thinking to himself that even if the system was rotten, a psychic-type item like this was still very useful. Suddenly, his eyes turned cold, and he turned to question the female wolf monster. "You were at the casino, right? Where are the tools from there?" she cried out in panic. "The casino was destroyed along with the dungeon." Leo seemed unconcerned, handing the orb back to Little Red Riding Hood. "I entrust the search to you. However, I found this in the rubble." The female wolf monster presented another item. It was a silver masquerade mask, an item belonging to the doll lady. He froze, memories of the woman wearing that mask suddenly flooding back. When Leo touched it, the mask began to resonate with his psychic power, then was gradually absorbed. The mask disintegrated into a stream of pure green energy, merging into Amike Leo's body. The female wolf monster asked anxiously, "How is it, master?" and received a short, satisfied reply from her new master. "Excellent." Leo, enveloped in a green aura, decided to test his new power. "Let's try it." The headache and numbness vanished, and he realized, it's suppressing the mental corruption. The loyal female wolf monster approached and asked, "Master, should we search for other things?" With a smug smile, Leo ordered, "Of course. The more the better. And find me the owner of this mask, the doll lady." While his subordinates obeyed, Leo thought to himself, "I must utilize everything at my disposal." The system panel appeared, confirming the status mental corruption, depth 1, but his authority remained normal. Looking at the Bloodhunt leaderboard, he was surprised. Huh? The system has recovered too. Suddenly, a massive explosion shook the ground right in front of them both. The female wolf monster screamed in terror upon seeing a knight struck down. A knight? Through the dust and smoke, a tall, imposing figure strode forward. The muscular player stood on the knight's corpse, chin jutted out, asking, "A player, cooperating with monsters? Hey kid, what's your ID?" Leo narrowed his eyes behind his mask, calmly assessing the enemy. "A new player? My apologies," Leo said coldly, as two shadow knights with glowing green eyes appeared behind him. Rule number 2, players are forbidden. Under the newly established rules, his dark army began to take shape. Standing before his legion, Leo declared, "We don't need players here." He smirked, gesturing provocatively. "Would you mind getting out of my sight?" Mike roared, fists clenched. "You little brat, don't you dare lecture me." A brilliant golden aura erupted, forming a solid barrier that enveloped him. He sneered, I'm an A rank player, rank 10. Do you think these puny knight attacks can even touch me? Just by standing here, I'm invincible. The knight's attack hit the barrier and dissipated. Mike screamed in horror. Why? These monsters are on a completely different level. This power even surpasses A rank? A green energy explosion flattened an entire building, demonstrating that destructive power. Mikey Leo coldly looked down at the defeated foe. Throw this guy out of the dungeon. Defeat players. Eliminate disobedient monsters. Those are our rules. Looking at the notification for plus 1,000 points, Leo smirked. It's using us to earn points. The female wolf monster commanded. Command the fused knights and begin operations. Leo obediently replied. Yes, master. Looking at the countdown timer, he declared resolutely. Within 12 hours, we will seize control of this dungeon. On the battlefield, Leo's knights were constantly being struck down in fierce engagements, but their numbers were almost infinite. An entire legion surged forward like a storm. Meanwhile, at the base, Leo sat analyzing the situation. First, my psychic power is in the negative. He checked the status of his subordinates. Suzuko's condition isn't very good either. Still waiting for information from Little Red Riding Hood, Leo realized an important characteristic. The number of monsters I can summon increases with my level. Finally, this accessory. He pondered the mask. Thanks to it, my pain has been alleviated. Just absorbing the excess psychic power is enough. Pushing up his glasses, Leo mused. It holds her lady's secrets. It would be very interesting if I could utilize it. Little Red Riding Hood suddenly appeared, and Leo immediately asked, Oh, have you found the queen yet? The girl replied, Not yet, but I found your comrades. Look here. Through the orb, Leo was stunned to see Rua and 2 others. It's these guys. I didn't expect them to survive. He quickly ordered, Little Red Riding Hood, focus on locating the queen. Elsewhere, Rua was calculating. Dealing with the company's people will be easy. As for Rua, surrounded by knights, her group whispered, Will this plan work? Trust me. Rua smiled confidently, outlining the plan. We'll pretend to be captured, infiltrate, and directly take down the monster's boss. The sound of high heels echoed as a powerful stranger entered the lair. Between 2 rows of bowing knights, Amike Leo advanced calmly like a king. He gently touched his mask, a mysterious smile gracing his lips. Removing the covering, Leo proudly greeted, Good afternoon, everyone. Witnessing the scene, Rua's group was stunned. Their plan had been shattered. I have business with that woman, Leo declared. I want to speak with her alone. Himajin-san, the bespectacled teammate shouted. Hey, you, please explain. Now that only 2 remained, Leo looked at Rua, who was tied to a chair. So you want to talk. You're looking for Suzuko too, aren't you? Leo exposed, but Rua just sneered. Who's Suzuko? Are you lumping me in with those monsters? Putting his mask back on, his eyes glowing, Leo asserted. I have the ability to see through the hearts of monsters. So what? Rua snapped, her confusion undeniable. What does that have to do with anything? You carry the soul of a monster, Leo provoked, causing a surge of crimson dark energy to erupt from Rua. He calmly adjusted his glasses. I am now Suzuko's father, and yet you dare lay a hand on me? Without me, you won't find Suzuko. Leo offered an undeniable proposition. Both of you are wanted targets. I'll destroy anyone who hurts her, Rua roared, grabbing Leo's collar. But he only coldly asked, Really? Leo reminded her. In this human body, you might not even be able to defeat me. Damn it. Rua clutched her head helplessly. If I were in my true body, I would have taken you down with one blow. Leo held out another mask, emanating a green light. If you understand your position, follow my words. Intervene if there's a problem. Do you trust me? I could kill you, Leo provoked. But Rua merely retorted. Kill me? You couldn't even if you tried. Standing with her arms crossed, Rua secretly admitted, I can't believe. I was outsmarted by someone who looks like an idiot. Rua was secretly astonished by her opponent's audacious plan to decipher and seize the mental power of others. Amike Leo didn't hesitate, beginning the process of assimilating the mysterious mask. Immediately, a massive stream of data flooded his mind, announcing a stolen jewel. Leo realized he had fallen into a mental trap, pulled into the mind space of the doll lady. The scene suddenly shifted, and he found himself standing in an unfamiliar hospital room. There, a younger version of himself was sobbing beside the bed of a severely injured girl. The young Leo clutched the girl's hand, choking back tears as he promised. I'll protect you. The current Leo watched the scene in shock, realizing the girl was the doll, and the child. Is me? The young Leo in the memory cried and asserted. Teacher will definitely cure you, a voice echoed from behind Leo. Of course, a digital entity appeared, claiming to be his teacher. Amike Leo, you are my most outstanding student. Now, I will begin the surgery. Rage flared, and Leo roared as the illusion tried to manipulate him. "Who's your student? Die!" He slumped to the ground, trying to resist the mental attack. "I won't be fooled." Rua witnessed the entire process, unable to help but admire. "Not bad. You eliminated traces of her power in a single attempt." Waking up, Leo stared at the mask, his mind in turmoil. Was that my memory just now? Impossible. Seeing Leo's expression, Rua asked worriedly, "What's wrong? You don't look so good." Leo suddenly stood up, his eyes sharp. "Hey, you know the doll, right? This item belongs to her, doesn't it?" "Of course," Rua replied. "She's my father's friend." Immediately, Leo grabbed her collar. "Tell me," he growled, his usual composure gone. "What's her real name?" Rua was startled by the sudden change, while Leo pressed close to her face, determined not to let go. "White. That's her name, isn't it?" A mic Leo pressed, Rua replied in shock. "Yes. How did you know?" Enveloped in a chaotic surge of energy, Leo sneered. "I'm wondering that myself. She definitely knows the answer, and I'll find her." Meanwhile, in Getzeron City, Iria appeared with immense power. "I truly like you monsters, especially the mystery of how you were created." He caressed a heart-shaped purple crystal, whispering, "So fascinating and perfect." Memories flooded back. Suzuko stood tall, her eyes burning red like fire as she looked at the girl in front of her. A woman named White embraced the girl. "Run. White will buy you time. We can't defeat him." Back in reality, Suzuko roared, "Stop!" swinging her deformed arms to block a surprise attack. Iria smirked. "Oh, how interesting. If I'm not mistaken, this is Getzeron City's S-rank Hayashi Miki. Trying to steal my prey?" Facing Suzuko, Hayashi Miki didn't flinch. "That's right." She unleashed her full power, her eyes sharp. "But you are the prey here. I'll tear you to shreds." Suzuko paused, her eyes flashing with suspicion as she caught a familiar scent from Miki. "You. I know this scent." "Which?" Miki growled, just as I thought. "This girl is Amike Leo's daughter." Iria stepped forward, blocking the way, his voice full of challenge. "Tear me to shreds? I'd like to see you try." Without another word, Miki roared "Die," and unleashed a destructive surge of energy. From another part of the ruined city, the werewolf and his subordinates watched in horror as the colossal energy orb exploded in the sky. The female wolf monster also shivered, her extra eyes popping open in terror. "What the hell was that?" "Too bad. You fell into my trap," Iria whispered as he held Miki tightly, a barrier enveloping both of them. "Void domain. This space nullifies all abilities." Completely restrained, Miki gnashed her teeth in hatred. "You deliberately set a trap for me. You piece of trash." He merely sneered. "My apologies. I just wanted to try out my new toy." In his palm, the crystal named Doll's Heart emitted an eerie glow. Iria aimed directly at Hayashi Miki, confidently saying, "I hope this works on a high-level player like you." A surge of psychic energy enveloped Miki, her eyes turning blank as her consciousness was slowly stripped away. Restrained, Suzuko roared in despair. "Release that witch." Iria sneered in response. "Too late. Defeat that monster for me, doll number 1. Miki's eyes now glowed with an eerie purple light, a sign of complete control. Under her new master's command, she channeled her power, summoning 2 original magic circles. Green vines erupted from the ground, tightly coiling around Suzuko in the creative rebirth attack. Bound by countless thorny vines, the Dungeon Queen was unable to move. For a moment, the image of the doll lady from years past, similarly chained, flashed by. Back in reality, Suzuko could only face her fate, utterly helpless. Iria looked at the battlefield, then glanced at the leaderboard. "Encountered 2 special targets and still only 4th place?" He smirked. "When my score surpasses Keeper, I'll leave." Hayashi Miki, finish them. Receiving the command, Miki poured all her magic power, preparing to unleash the final attack. Suzuko, still imprisoned, could only await the fated moment. But a roar echoed, "Not on my watch," and a massive energy orb appeared, blocking everything. Iria was stunned, unable to believe his eyes at this sudden intervention. Amidst the smoke and dust, a mysterious figure with green hair stood there. "Your target is Suzuko, isn't it?" He held out his hand, declaring, "Sorry, but you'll have to give her back." Spirit shock. A terrifying green energy blast shot straight into Iria's barrier, repelling both him and his puppet. Iria exclaimed in horror, "He's just a measly F rank. What is this power?" The green energy attack swept across the battlefield, knocking Hayashi Miki away. Amidst the ruins, the mysterious green-haired player gently caught her unconscious body. Freed. Suzuko looked at the young man with glowing red eyes, exclaiming in astonishment, "Dad?" Just then, Rua appeared with a radiant red aura, cheerfully calling, "Big Sister Suzuko Tilda." The red-haired girl quickly used her power to shatter the remaining tentacles, introducing herself as Dad's friend. Painful memories flooded back. Suzuko screamed as she witnessed the heart of the woman named White being stolen. The green-haired player clenched his fist, determined. I still have so many questions for her. Suddenly, a stranger appeared, scoffing. A measly F rank, yet faster than even me. He was astonished to see his opponent still standing after the preemptive attack. Who exactly are you? The gray-haired man activated nullification field, creating an absolute defensive barrier. He smirked, confident that all close-range attacks would be completely nullified. To his surprise, the green-haired young man created countless clones, shattering the barrier with pure brute force. The gray-haired man screamed in horror as his arm was severely injured. He broke my field? Giving his opponent no time to recover, the green-haired player struck a thunderous blow from above. From afar, Iria smiled mysteriously, revealing the identity of the defeated foe. S-rank master, Luxter. He stepped forward, mocking the fallen Luxter. You're known as Mr. Item, but Luxter struggled to his feet, roaring. This isn't over. His body erupted with fierce blue energy. The system announced, core detonation initiated. With a crazed smile, he yelled, I have self-destruct capabilities. I'll drag all of you down with me. Iria's subordinates cried out in panic, urging their master. Lord, retreat quickly! Facing the desperate threat, the green-haired young man merely smirked. Self-destruct, huh? Immediately, the system announced the detonation was aborted as the green energy began the spirit corruption process on Luxter. Did I give you permission? An icy voice echoed, completely overwhelming the defeated foe. Luxter could only scream in agony as the demonic energy cruelly punished his soul. A colossal pillar of green energy erupted, ending the confrontation in destruction. Meanwhile, Iria coldly handed the unconscious Hayashi Miki to the werewolf. Werewolf, she's yours. He looked at the purple crystal in his hand, whispering to Suzuko's memory. It's all right. I have her heart now. Elsewhere, Iria carried the dying doll lady, resolute. I can't let her die. He didn't hesitate to press the crystal into her chest, beginning a painful grafting process. Cracks spread across the girl's skin, signaling a horrifying transformation underway. Back on the battlefield, Suzuko, in the form of a little girl, hugged Ameki Leo. Thank you, Dad. Can we go eat now? Leo seriously turned to Rua. Rua, I need to talk to you. I want to ask you to look after Suzuko for a while, he said with a resolute gaze. Suddenly, a surge of green energy erupted from Leo. Rua watched in horror as he was consumed by his own power. The system announced his spirit corruption level had soared to 50, simultaneously revealing the Blood Hunt event leaderboard. The limited time event officially ended, and the entire dungeon space began to shatter into glowing red fragments. Amidst the chaos, the final announcement echoed, Winner, Keeper, congratulations. A blue vortex appeared in the sky, signaling the completion of the limited time event and the start of data collection. The werewolf looked up at the data blocks regenerating the world, muttering, the dungeon is being restored. His knight army stood silently, watching the ruined space gradually return to normal. Amidst the data fragments, a blonde woman named White lay slumped, her body slowly fading away. Rua rushed to support her, exclaiming in shock, White and Suzuko. She was stunned to realize that all these people shared a mysterious connection. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Suzuko, in the form of a little girl, was with a strange man, wondering, could it be he's really connected to Dad? From above, another group of players spotted them. A brown-haired guy sneered, Look, it's those dungeon brats. Good riddance. He and his companions revealed their intentions, declaring, We are profiteering fishermen. It's time to collect our spoils. A blazing red magic circle activated, firing a destructive energy beam straight down. Facing the danger, Suzuko gently put a mask on the man. This is your mask. Is it better now? Sensing the deadly power, Rua, from a distance, was also startled and terrified. Immediately, Suzuko's mouth distorted, revealing the sharp fangs of a demon. The little girl transformed into a black-haired monster with countless arms, roaring furiously. Get out of my way. Witnessing the horrifying sight, Rua could only scream in despair. Sister? The attackers froze. Huh? It's a monster. I thought the dungeon had been cleared. A crimson pillar of energy from the monster Suzuko descended, blowing away the ground. In another blonde form, Suzuko screamed in her mind, Dad's hurt again. I'll take care of Dad. But then, she screamed in pain as a powerful beam of holy light attacked her fiercely. An army of priests suddenly appeared, shouting in unison, Attack! The commander raised his staff, ordering, Attack it with full force. We must hold out until the Saintess arrives. The monster Suzuko was completely engulfed in the explosion of divine light. In a completely different place, a woman with insect antennae lay on a bed, her eyes full of hidden meaning. A black-haired young man blushed, reluctantly responding to someone. Meanwhile, the priest commander bowed and reported, Saintess. A woman cloaked in a white robe smiled, grasping the deformed creature in her hand. As expected, "I've found Suzuko." Amidst the hazy space, a familiar voice echoed, calling out Leo. Leo slowly opened his eyes, trying to make out the figure calling him. A blonde girl rushed to hug him, overjoyed. "Thank goodness, you're okay." Leo pushed her away in shock, his mind blank. "What the? You are?" The girl anxiously introduced herself, hoping he would remember. "It's me, White." Leo pressed his forehead against hers, his face a mix of concern and confusion. "Do you have a fever? Do you want to rest for a bit?" He awkwardly pulled his hand back, patting White's head. "I'm fine. Sorry for making you worry." But as he turned away, Leo's thoughts were contradictory. If this is the doll's memory, she shouldn't know her own name, but she does. White watched his retreating back, realizing the truth in astonishment. "So, this is my own memory?" Leo crouched down, painful fragments of the past flooded back. Did I turn White into a monster? Why does she call that monster god Sensei? White's desperate call pulled him out of his thoughts. "Leo," she looked up from the grass, her eyes hurt. "We're friends, aren't we? Why are you avoiding me?" Leo smiled gently, turning back to reassure the girl. "Of course we're friends." Suddenly, his gaze fell on White's legs, and a chilling truth emerged. "She can't walk?" He offered his back to her, suggesting, "Let me carry you, so you don't get your clothes dirty," secretly thinking this was an opportunity to learn more. Carrying White on his back, Leo teased, "You're really heavy, Tilda," only to receive a weak retort. "I don't eat that much." Suddenly, White asked a loaded question. "If I lost my memory, and no longer knew who I was, what would you do?" White asserted, "I'll help you remember. I'll even ask Sensei for help." With absolute conviction, the little girl affirmed, because Sensei can do anything, making Leo curiously ask, what kind of person is Sensei? Just the name Sensei echoed, and a ghostly shadow immediately enveloped Leo. He realized his memories were problematic, as a terrifying monster illusion whispered in his ear. A thought suddenly flashed. The monster god is affecting everyone connected to him. Leo realized in horror that even White's image in his mind was being distorted, and he himself was no exception. Meanwhile, at a high-tech facility, an alarm blared from one of the containment cells. A purple-haired young man woke up from a nightmare, realizing he was imprisoned. Trapped in the containment cell, he desperately thought that both he and Suzuko had been captured, and this was the end. But then he told himself, that was for my old self. Before an earth-shattering explosion shattered the cell, a figure burst out from the smoke, roaring. But now, the purple-haired young man appeared with glowing eyes, declaring, "I am no longer who I once was." Two security guards hadn't even grasped what was happening when he lunged at them. In the blink of an eye, both were taken down by overwhelming power. Standing over the guards, he recognized their uniforms. These are the Cooperative's uniforms. Strange, bloodshot eyes appeared on his cheeks. He muttered, "What a pain. I have to get out of here." Disguised as an employee, he overheard a news report about Getsuron City. Unique monsters had been captured, and a saintess was overseeing the area. Two managers discussed. Rumor has it she's here to observe a certain unique monster. He froze, worried. Unique monster? Could it be Suzuko? Damn it, Rua. Couldn't you have watched her more carefully? Suddenly, the area-wide alarm blared, and he panicked. Damn it, they found out I escaped. I have to get out of here. While fleeing, Leo suddenly sensed a familiar presence. This feeling. Suzuko? He frowned in annoyance. With my current state of corruption, I can't even view Suzuko's status window. At the same time, a heavily armed security team was frantically searching the corridors. Leo smirked, thinking to himself, coming to catch me? How diligent. You can search all you want, I'm out of here. His figure quickly slipped into an open elevator. Inside, he decided, I have a clue about Suzuko's location. I'll go find her. At worst, I'll just destroy this place. An ominous green aura began to emanate from his body as the elevator moved. He speculated about the worst-case scenario. They've probably captured Suzuko for research. Could Rua have betrayed us? Shaking off that thought, his eyes glowed, and secondary eyes appeared on his cheeks. No, that can't be. If they dare touch a single hair on Suzuko's head. Stepping out into the monster containment area, he growled, I'll make them pay. He strode through the silent corridor, surprised by the lack of security or monsters. Have they all been killed? Suddenly, he realized the spiritual energy he had sensed earlier had vanished. Don't tell me Suzuko is also. He clicked his tongue, his expression hardening with anger and worry. Looking into a cell, he froze at the unbelievable sight. What the hell? Inside, a robed woman was lifting the chin of a shrunken Suzuko. Huh. Suzuko? Leo's entire body turned to stone, his face contorted in extreme horror. Through the glass, he helplessly watched the saintess enticing Suzuko with food. She's luring her with tasty treats. Suzuko obediently ate the food she was given, looking completely harmless. But then she looked up sharply, recognized a familiar face, and joyfully called out, "Dad?" Suzuko suddenly rushed towards Amaiki Leo, who was taken aback. She hugged him tightly, joyfully shouting, "Dad!" Just then, the rapid footsteps of the security team echoed. Heavily armed forces quickly swarmed into the corridor. They immediately surrounded the two. Amaiki Leo, thinking to himself, "So that's it." He coldly realized, "It's a trap, huh?" From the end of the corridor, a sarcastic voice spoke. "What a touching reunion." The Saintess stepped out, assessing, "You seem to possess incredible power, able to tame even an A-rank monster." Amaiki Leo smirked in response. "You flatter me," while Suzuko innocently asked, "Dad?" The Saintess smiled and ordered, "Come here, I have a few things I want to ask you." "Well, you don't have the right to refuse anyway," she added, but he only replied with a challenging question. "Is that so?" She was one of the 5 saints, humanity's ultimate weapon chosen by the world after the Heaven's Descent event. He deduced that their purpose in capturing Suzuko must be to find the whereabouts of the monster god. In another room, he sat opposite her, asking directly, "Saintess, what exactly do you want?" The Saintess replied with a relaxed expression, "Oh, don't look at me like that. We're just going to talk a little." She turned to entice, "Suzuko, there's delicious food in the other room. Go on over," and the girl obediently complied. But before leaving, Suzuko suddenly stopped, pulled up her shirt to reveal a giant mouth on her stomach. Wait. Before that, Amaiki Leo froze, realizing a horrifying truth. It's obeying the Saintess's command. He looked at her with a bewildered gaze, wondering, what exactly is it? The Saintess smiled powerfully, reassuring him, "I won't eat you. Relax." Suddenly, Suzuko cheered happily upon finding a mask. "Found it, Dad's mask." The girl carefully placed the perfectly fitting mask on Amaiki Leo, causing his eyes to glow with a strange green light. After that, Suzuko obediently waved goodbye and left, leaving him stunned. As soon as Suzuko left, the Saintess approached from behind, her voice full of hidden meaning. "Why did you turn her into a monster?" Her red-gloved hand gripped his chin, challenging. "I wonder how long your composure will last." She uttered a deadly threat, asserting that Suzuko would not resist at all if he were killed. Gritting his teeth, Amaiki Leo growled a command. "Let go." When the Saintess refused, a surge of dark green energy erupted from him. "Then I have my own way." The Saintess's hand was immediately corroded, and she exclaimed in surprise, "My hand is being corrupted?" Amaiki Leo leaned back, removed his mask, and exposed. "Stop playing games. If you wanted to kill me, I'd already be dead." In response, her corrupted hand merely flicked his forehead playfully. While rubbing his head, he listened as she rattled off his titles. And finally his name. The Gravekeeper, Amaiki Leo-kun. The Saintess looked at her hand, analyzing sharply. "Your soul corruption has deepened. An interesting method." A brilliant golden light emanated from her hand, easily purifying the dark energy completely. Amaiki Leo was stunned, a horrifying thought echoing in his mind. The Saintesses are truly terrifying. She began to recount his entire past, from the orphanage, his escape, to becoming a dungeon guide. Every step of Leo's tragic past was laid bare, and the Saintess concluded, "Luck and misfortune always go hand in hand." Completely subdued, Amaiki Leo could only admit, as expected from one of the 5 great saints. Amaiki Leo thought to himself, the Saintess is rumored to be able to control fate. Moran. No wonder Suzuko obeys her. He guessed she had seen through Suzuko's past, even knowing about her biological father, the monster god. The Saintess smiled mysteriously. "That was your past fate, but what is my purpose in calling you here?" She offered an enticing proposal. "Don't you want to change your fate? Join the collective and work under me." A magic heart appeared as she continued to entice him. "This is a life-changing opportunity, and there are many privileges too." Amaiki Leo coldly replied, "I'll pass." A shiver running down his spine as he almost gave in. He scoffed, "I have no interest in being a lackey, nor am I suited to serve someone as noble as you." Moran raised an eyebrow, playing her trump card. "Why refuse? Don't you want to know how to remove soul corruption?" Leo paused for a moment. The offer had clearly hit his weak spot, but then he calmly explained a cruel method he already knew, transferring the corruption to others, asserting it was useless on him. He described the horror of the curse. Even mild cases are enough to drive people mad, and severe ones only lead to death. The Saintess was stunned by his profound knowledge, speechless. This kid, she made up her mind. He knows too much. I must keep him by my side at all costs. Seizing the opportunity, Leo sneered. "Huh? You didn't know that?" Making Moran awkwardly deny. "Of course I did. Is that so? Well, I'm leaving, Leo said, turning on his heel, but a golden energy source flared up from beneath the Saintess's feet. Chains of light suddenly shot out, tightly wrapping around the young man's body. Bound tightly, Leo roared in helplessness. What the hell are you doing? Moran crossed her arms, declaring her authority. You cannot leave unless I permit it. Holy Seal, join the cooperative. This is for your own good. Your condition is too dangerous, she asserted, even as Leo could only respond with contemptuous silence. Amiki Leo countered the coercion with a cold question. And, what if I don't want to? He unleashed a massive surge of spiritual energy, breaking the restraint. Moran exclaimed in astonishment. I've never seen spiritual power this dense. His control is truly remarkable, Amiki Leo smirked, admitting. Well, it hurts like hell. Then he raised his hand, and an army of robots appeared from thin air. All right, shall we begin? Moran didn't flinch. Instead, she was amused. Summoning. No, these are real monsters. You're getting more interesting, Amiki Leo. She raised a finger, proposing a ceasefire. Calm down. I don't want to fight. Instead, let's make a deal. Amiki Leo looked interested. Oh? A deal, huh? You should have done that from the start. Moran made the first offer. First, for the Black Forest dungeon you cleared, I'll give you 20% of the items as a reward, she continued, pointing at Suzuko's image on the screen. Second, the cooperative will provide for her, on the condition that you join. Amiki Leo pondered. The benefit of providing for Suzuko was undeniable, but he quickly dismissed it. I hate being a pawn, I get it. It's all about controlling us. If I went to another organization, they would surely treat me like a VIP, with no strings attached, he confidently declared. Moran sneered, reminding him, this kid is hard to fool. Have you forgotten where you are? In response to the threat, one of Leo's robots punched the ground hard. Saintess, please don't test me. Amiki Leo looked directly into her eyes, his gaze sharp. If I truly wanted to leave, I don't believe you alone could stop me. Moran smiled, changing tactics. So, do you have any conditions to propose? He immediately played his trump card. Do you know about the god of monsters? Moran replied. I'm looking for him too. Amiki Leo extended his hand, proposing an alliance. Since we share the same goal, I can cooperate with you. Amiki Leo boldly stated his conditions. I will join in name only, but I won't take orders from them, in exchange for information about the god of monsters. Moran smiled meaningfully. You've convinced me, but I have to keep an eye on you. That's a request from my superiors. She pointed, declaring, I will personally supervise you, and outwardly, you will be my student. Amiki Leo calculated that a legitimate identity would make it easier to act, then nodded. Sounds acceptable. Moran unexpectedly put an arm around his shoulder, her tone mischievous. And we'll have to cooperate on spiritual corruption experiments too. Sensei will protect you, okay? Seeing her new student's confusion, she instructed, now go take your professional aptitude test. You'll need certification. He turned and walked away, not forgetting to instruct, take care of Suzuko, and received a confident reply. Leave it to Sensei. Amiki Leo looked back with a provocative smile, testing her. Are you sure I'll come back for Suzuko? I could just run away. Moran retorted sharply, revealing her cruel contingency plan if he dared to betray her. The purple-haired young man silently strode alone down the long corridor of the facility. At the same time, Mayor Fujinami rushed into the room, pressing, Saintess, Sama, have you convinced that boy yet? He explained anxiously. That's obvious. He's the talent we've been searching for. Memories of Amiki Leo commanding an army of robot monsters, preventing the destruction caused by other players, came back to him. The mayor emphasized the potential danger. Do you understand? He has the ability to command monsters. In his mind, the haunting vision of the young man leading a monster legion to level the city appeared. We must get him into the cooperative at all costs, he yelled, but Moran merely replied casually, he's my student. Mayor Fujinami froze, stammering. Huh? What do you mean? Moran crossed her legs, calmly explaining. He just went to take his professional aptitude test. Go easy on him, okay? As the mayor hurried away, Moran looked out the window, musing. There was a time when he tried to save the world. In Moran's thoughts, images of a sensei and a young Suzuko appeared, along with a nagging question. So why would a god of monster? Suzuko suddenly yawned, tiredly responding to Moran's thoughts. A god who uses and discards his own child. What ultimately changed him? Suddenly, the girl flinched, her left eye glowing red as her belly, covered in stitches, began to crack open. Moran frantically reached forward, trying to intervene in the bizarre phenomenon. She was stunned, unable to comprehend the sudden transformation unfolding before her eyes. In another dimension, a doll queen revealed, just as I thought, Amiki Leo's mask belongs to White. I must rely on him to hunt down the god of monsters. Meanwhile, at the examination center, a female staff member directed the crowd. Everyone, this way, she smiled professionally. Please wait here until the test begins. Enter when your number is called. Mike Leo glanced at the device in his hand. The number 30 appeared coldly. Not much longer. He gently pushed up his glasses, thinking, it's a good thing the mask can change forms. I don't need to worry about Suzuko either. The system panel appeared, confirming the glasses were a protean accessory capable of transformation and enhancement, along with the occupational traits, synchronization and summon. Job assessment. Brings back memories, Leo recalled bitterly. Anyway, I'm just a perpetual failure. Memories of being shunned by countless teams for being jobless flooded back. He was treated like a burden. Pushing aside the past, Leo told himself, it doesn't matter anymore. I need to find clues about that strange memory. His train of thought was interrupted by a burly man, rudely pushing his way through. Get out of the way. The man named Mike declared boastfully, while the one in the white vest named Kane stood behind him, complaining. Hey Mike, this test is really annoying. Kane smirked, looking impatient. Why can't they do it faster? Mike approached the female staff member, calling out, Miss. He demanded priority, but the girl firmly refused. I'm sorry, but the policy is to proceed in order. Rejected. Mike angrily roared. Huh? I'm Mike the A-rank berserker. Are you telling me you can't do that much for me? In the crowd, Mike Leo recognized the man's reputation, while the loudspeaker announced the next number. Holding card number 30, Leo thought. Finally, it's my turn. In the crowded waiting hall, Kane impatiently asked, Hey Mike, have you gotten my number yet? Mike turned back, a confident smirk on his face. I'm about to get it. He began to rudely push his way through the crowd, shouting, Get out of the way, you're blocking the path. The burly man's gaze stopped on Leo, who was holding the glowing card, making him confused. What's wrong with him? Mike snarled, deliberately provoking him. Hey kid, don't ignore me. You, Four Eyes, called out for no reason. Leo pointed at himself in confusion. Me? Sir? Yes, you. Give me the number, Mike ordered, but Leo flatly refused. No way. Why don't you wait for your turn? Enraged by Leo's attitude, Mike growled. I don't like your tone. Fine. Then clenched his fist. A surge of yellow aura flared around Mike as he advanced threateningly. Kid, I'm going to have to. His large hand gripped Leo's shoulder with immense pressure. With glowing eyes, Mike growled, intending to use his power to teach him a lesson in manners. He put all his strength into forcing Leo to his knees. But to his companion's astonishment, he didn't budge. Leo coldly grabbed Mike's wrist, his tone clearly annoyed. Well, this is troublesome. A terrifying surge of green spiritual energy erupted from Leo, making Mike gasp in fear. What? This spiritual energy? It's crushing me? Under the immense pressure, a memory flashed in Mike's mind. I remember now, this guy. Without the slightest difficulty, Leo flung the berserker backward, ending the confrontation in the blink of an eye. His companions were stunned. What? With just one blow, Mike was. Kane, the ringleader, was also dumbfounded by the sight. This is, he roared at his subordinates. Hey, what are you doing? Get Mike down. Amidst the chaos, a Mikey Leo calmly asked the female staff member, Can I go in now? The girl was dumbfounded, thinking, he took down an A rank with just one blow. Does that mean he possesses even more terrifying power? Leaving the astonishment behind, another player had begun their job assessment. Mike Leo silently observed, his eyes sharp behind his glasses. Being recognized with a job not only brought fame in dungeons but also in all business sectors. It also opened up opportunities for development and advancement under the patronage of businesses and cooperatives. Because of this, many had faked their abilities, making official certification the ultimate proof. In preparation for the upcoming fourth catastrophe, the cooperative was actively seeking exceptional individuals. The machine started, and blue energy enveloped the challenger. Suddenly, Mikey Leo felt a familiar pang of pain on his shoulder. The system coldly announced, Failure, cannot certify, leaving the man stunned. He cried out in despair. Your machine is broken. Dragged away by security, he still screamed. Let me go, I have a job. Leo mused. This scene, it's just like me in the past. Just as the loudspeaker called his number, he resolutely stepped forward, telling himself, Finally, it's my turn. Let's just get this over with. From the control room, Mayor Fujinami observed the screen. He's finally here. He turned to his assistant. Jenna, is there anything suspicious in his resume? No, sir, she replied. He has a certificate from Saintess Moran. The mayor smiled expectantly. Good. Then, let's see the hidden potential of this record keeper. Inside the testing booth, Mike Leo stood firm as the system activated with a surge of blue energy. Dark energy began to surge violently around him as the machinery took measurements. In the control room, Mayor Fujinami gasped in shock. What the hell? A voice from the system announced. Data shows anomalies. making him snap back. What did you say? Leo also panicked, sweat pouring as he realized. Damn it, my spiritual power is leaking out? The system continuously reported errors amidst the chaotic green energy exploding from his body. The mayor pointed towards the dazzling halo, disbelieving his eyes. What in the world is happening? This abnormal psychic power. A scientist rushed over to report. Mayor Fujinami, the measurement results are in. He's an F rank. Absurd, he roared. Are you kidding me? We also have his ability analysis chart, the scientist said. Mayor Fujinami snatched the datasheet. Let me see, he muttered as he read the results, an image of Hayashi Miki appearing in his mind. Exactly like Hayashi Miki, a unique profession, uncontrollable psychic power, and even the ability to control monsters. The results showed a paradox. The owner of a unique profession, F rank, yet all stats were abnormal, and psychic power was infinite. Mayor Fujinami turned to his assistant and asked, among the registered professions, what is the limit for monster summoning? An immortal mage can summon about a dozen, Jenna replied. She further explained with an illustration. However, immortal monsters can only follow simple commands. It's difficult to control them completely. There are also summoners and beast tamers, but their growth rate is very slow. So, according to you, he asked, who can control an A-rank boss like Suzuko? Jenna mused. Currently, I can only think of one person, Hayashi Miki, S+ rank. Suzuko's power is immeasurable, she concluded. But it is a monster that has attracted the attention of a saint. In the control room, Mayor Fujinami mused. Someone who can tame monsters. It makes sense for her to take him as a disciple. Assistant Jenna, confused, suggested, should we remeasure? Or just record him as F rank? Remeasuring is useless, Fujinami stated decisively. Using my authority, record him as X rank. He explained to the astonished female assistant. That is the designation for unique, unpredictable monsters, and he is precisely such an entity. The mayor broke out in a cold sweat as he listed. Summoning and controlling monsters, changing appearance, and even harboring a boss monster. Who would believe such a person is human? Meanwhile, Amike Leo wondered about the black streaks on the floor. Remnants of corrupting power? Can I erase them? He breathed a sigh of relief as the green energy easily cleaned the stains. Phew, no need to pay for damages. Immediately, hurried footsteps echoed. A team in yellow hazmat suits entered and surrounded Amike Leo. A team member announced, Mr. Amike, you may withdraw. We will handle the cleanup. All right, Leo replied, thinking to himself. It's like they're cleaning up a crime scene or disinfecting a virus. He uncomfortably adjusted his glasses. Being treated like a source of infection is terrible. Whatever. I'll go wait for the results. In another corner, Mike, his arm still bandaged, warned. Kane, that kid is no pushover. He doesn't even fear you. Kane nervously asked back. So, what are you going to do? With a sinister grin, Mike growled. Ambush him. He recalled the terrifying scene. He can summon and control an entire horde of monsters. This kind of ability is extremely rare. But now he's alone. Mike pointed out the opportunity. If we want to make a move, now's the time. Kane nodded decisively. I understand. Then, let's make a plan. As soon as he saw Amike Leo step out, Kane thought to himself, he's out. Without warning, Mike lunged from behind, roaring, Let me punch you once. Leo easily dodged the powerful punch, calmly remarking, That was dangerous. With a smirk, he provocatively said, Too bad, you missed. Enraged at being underestimated, Mike growled, I see. I've changed my mind. He unleashed his full power, shouting, I'll teach you a lesson about the power of an A rank. The powerful aura blew away those nearby. A man frantically cried out, Please stop. The female supervisor also desperately yelled, No fighting in the cooperative. Suddenly, verdant roots emerged from the ground, stopping the fight. Mike was stunned, as the roots unexpectedly wrapped tightly around his body. Leo was also surrounded, but he remained unusually calm. He recognized this familiar spiritual energy and muttered, This spiritual energy, could it be? In the middle of the hall, Hayashi Miki appeared, a magic circle radiating from her hand. I wonder who's causing a commotion in the cooperative? She finished, stepping forward. A tied-up accomplice quickly cried out, Miki, this guy started it. Miki's eyes widened in surprise as she recognized a familiar face amidst the chaos. Amike Leo? Why are you at the cooperative? She asked, while Leo replied, Long time no see, Mini. I came to take the profession test. Still bound, Mike's face paled as he realized their relationship. This brat knows Hayashi Miki? I should retreat for now. Miki turned to Leo and asked, Oh, you want to join the cooperative? But he only replied, No. I was admitted against my will.